Championship Monday. Coming off of a championship Sunday. I like the games. AFC and NFC championship game. Now we have our participants in Super Bowl 60. It is the Seattle Seahawks and a football team that was down for a little bit. Now it's back up, and now they're in their 12th Super Bowl. The New England Patriots are by far the greatest franchise in the Super Bowl era. And there's no getting around it, and it is because of Bob Kraft. That's his 11th now Super Bowl that he's going to take his New England Patriots to. I mean, his football team hasn't sucked long enough here. They've only been bad for a couple of years, and here they are in an AFC championship game. Incredible. By the way, started off first and foremost, AFC title game, 10-7. The elements. Sean Payton, as good a coach as he is, you got a backup quarterback and Jarrett Stidham, right? You drive down the football field in the opening drive, you get it down inside the red zone, you pass up to 3. Why? You don't have your starting quarterback. You're in a position where you're playing a guy who hasn't thrown a pass in 3 years. And what? Sean Payton thought he was just going to run the same plays with Jarrett Stidham as he did with Bo Nix? Absolutely stupid way of, coaching. And then you had Sean McVay. 7 minutes left in a ball game. Kick the field goal, dude. It's postseason football. You get the ball late in the football game. All you have to do is kick a field goal, and you're only going to be down 30-31 with a chance to win it with a field goal. Nope. These guys, again, they stay in their playbooks, and they go to those nerds upstairs. And what they do is they sit around, and they're, of course, talking to the analytics guys. Those were analytical losses for both the Rams and the Broncos on Sunday. Hit the like button. Supers go to the top. Just like my friend, Corporate B Pumper here. Pump would like to announce that he has withdrawn his name for consideration of the Eagles' OC vacancy, citing a lack of quarterback as per sources. Thank you so much there, Corporate B. And we will get into that here in a second. Absolutely true. 14 people the Eagles have talked to. And the latest, as Corporate here says, the Clan Doyle. Who? I would like to withdraw my name for consideration for the OC job in Philly. Who's the Clan Doyle? Is that Bear coach? Okay. Charlie Weiss Jr. I'm going to go to LSU and go with Lane instead of taking the job in Philadelphia. Nobody wants the job. Gee, I wonder why. Nobody wants the Philadelphia Eagle OC gig. Gee, I wonder why. Doyle. Declan Doyle. Is that his name? I don't really give a shit. 14 names have popped up and said, yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay. 14 names. Hit the like button. Supers go to the top. Get this. Hey, well, here, look at it. Look at my boy here. Sirianni's clearly a better coach than McVay. That's why the owner in the last 3 years tried firing him twice. Yeah, explain that. Every single time someone says Nick Sirianni's a good coach, then how come the owner was going to fire him twice and considered firing him twice if he's such a good coach? Okay? How come the coach almost got fired? I have withdrawn my name from the Eagles OC job because I couldn't fit my head up my ass. Oh, my God. Jalen has been saving Sirianni's butt all this time. Yeah, I agree. Sirianni's horrible, man. He's a caboose. Okay. Might as well fire Nick. Oh, my God. Might as well fire Nick at this point. This process has been a shit show. Nobody in Philadelphia media wants to say that it's been a shit show. It is a shit show. How long is this going to go on? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Hey, the coach is such a good coach. He's better than Sean McVay, but yet he's almost been fired twice in the last 2 years. Okay. Yeah. Hey, try fitting that on. And by the way, that wasn't me saying that. That was a reporter that covers the football team saying that. Oh, my God. Bring back Dougie P. The shit show known as the Philadelphia OC search continues. Imagine bringing your new girlfriend to the house and the ex-Patullo still lives there. Hey, this is the chick that I used to date. How you doing? Who's this? This is my new girlfriend. Ah. Yeah. Right? Hey, you don't mind. You know, what the hell? We got to I'm the coach anyway. Only Eagles head coach I didn't like other than Chip after he cut Jackson and traded McCoy. Wow. Okay, get this. Here, let's see here. Dumb Reyes, that's his new name. Sad fans are the bane of this team's existence. They're the bane of this team's existence. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Bad Reyes. Or Dumb Reyes. I think it's more like Dumb Reyes. Okay? Yeah, Reuben Frank thinks Nick is a better coach than McVay. Of course he does. He's got a bust all ready for him. And yet the owner tried firing his ass. Don't you agree, Dumb Reyes? Yeah. By the way, 10-7, Patriots punch their ticket to another Super Bowl number 12. Seahawks, 31-27. All right, so let me ask you a question here. As we go forward here, and I asked you this question before, and we'll do it right now. I was going to wait here, but we'll do it now. Corporate beat pump. Shedeur Sanders to the Pro Bowl. Sills, what the fuck happened to the league I love? Oh, my God, was a travesty. Shedeur Sanders to the oh, my God. Oh, my God. Shedeur sucks. Tanner McKee's better. You got to be kidding me. All right, hey. So, Eagle fans, just a question. After we get the Supers, we are screwed, Sills. No one wants us. Oh. Sills, it seems to me that Laurie and Howie haven't told Nick to keep his nose out of the offense. What are they waiting for? I don't know. So here. Hey, Jalenites. Just a question. Is that really a true story first? Oh, by the way, I got to write this down here. Hang on for a second. 3, 4, 6, and 3. All right. Hang on here. Shedeur Sanders can't be going to the Pro Bowl. Shedeur to replace May in the Pro Bowl. Oh, my God. I'll never in a million years ever say the Pro Bowl's worth of shit again. Shedeur Sanders is just, without a doubt, bastardized the Pro Bowl. He was terrible. He started 5 games or something. Good God almighty. All right. Yeah. That kid sucks. And get this. He's going to go to the Pro Bowl, and the Browns are still going to draft a quarterback. What a joke. Tanner McKee's better. He's a better quarterback. All right. Let me get away from that mess. All right. So, you can get to a Super Bowl without an elite quarterback, right? Right? You don't have to be elite to get to the Super Bowl. Is that right? Sam Darnold, he's in the Super Bowl. You don't have to be elite, right? So I'm going to say it now. Drake May is better than Hurts. I'll take her to my grave. Absolutely. Absolutely, he's a better quarterback. See, you don't have to have an elite quarterback. Okay, wait a minute. Richie says that Sam Darnold's elite. Let's see. He got fired from the New York Jets. He got fired from the Carolina Panthers. He got fired from the San Francisco 49ers. He got fired from the Minnesota Vikings. He got fired 4 times. 87 yards. Hold on for a second. I remember Jalen Hurts having 97 yards in a playoff game. You called his ass elite, didn't you? What do you have in that game? What was it, the Green Bay game? What do you have, like net yards, 96 yards? Elite. Some bullshit game like Jalen played where he had like 114 yards and the team had 97 yards. It was the Rams game? Yeah, he had like 90 yards net passing. Elite. Yeah. Sam Darnold yesterday threw for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. By far a better game than Hurts has ever played in a conference title game. Elite. By the way, in case you were watching, maybe you didn't see the weather, but hey, that's probably not anything, right? So it's on the ass today. How you doing? Super Bowl is going to be a shit show. It's the Acura and the Altima. What are you talking about? Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts will ever be. Never in a million years will he do the things that Sam Darnold has done throwing the ball. Like, ever. If that's not on display, you're a moron. You think that you're going to have a quarterback in Philly throw for 4,500 yards, throw for 8,200 yards in 2 years and 60-some-odd touchdowns? You're out of your mind. Seals, we won our first Super Bowl with a non-elite quarterback, then built a statue for him. I know. Jake May throws for 86 yards and the Jalenites instantly think of Hurts. That's just sad, Sills. Usual occurrence from their hero. Absolutely, man. Drake made the second youngest quarterback in the history of the National Football League to get to a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold's going to win the MVP award. And he's a journeyman. What's that say for your boy Hurts? I mean, he's going to win the MVP. Journeyman, been fired 4 times. Elite. You don't call Sam Darnold elite, even though he threw for 346 and 3 TDs in the NFC Championship game. Okay? Darnold is elite. Why? Because he got to a Super Bowl? Sam Darnold's not elite. Sam Darnold's really good, though. He's really good. Shows you what good coaching and good players can do for a guy. Gee, really? Hey, Buffalo, maybe if you kind of gave Allen some decent players and some better freaking coaching, you'd be also in the Super Bowl. Explain this too. If you're the Buffalo Bills as an organization, the Patriots sucked for what, 4 years? And you couldn't catch them, and now the Patriots are back in the Super Bowl with the youngest quarterback like ever to get to the game next to Dan Marino? Is that right? Dude, the Patriots are the best franchise in pro football in the salary cap era. There's nobody near them. There's nobody near the Patriots. There's just nobody close. This is Bob Kraft's 11th Super Bowl since he's owned the team. And he bought the team from Victor Kayam. He's going to be going for his 7th Super Bowl win. There's nobody near the guy. Think about this if you're the Cowboys. Jerry Jones had that great run early. When Jimmy went away, if Jerry Jones was such a great owner, how come he couldn't duplicate it? Kraft has duplicated it 3 different times. He did it with Bledsoe and Parcells, obviously with Brady and Belichick. Now he's there with Vrabel and May. Dude, it's the best franchise in all of pro football. Dude, Jeffrey Lurie, Bob Kraft, it's the moon and the sun. That's how different they are. You're not even in the room with the Patriots. You're more in the conversation with like the Rams. Even the Chiefs have done more. Okay? Let's see here. To be fair, I don't think you were in the know about how screwed the Buffalo front office is. They have leadership talking different things publicly and players clearly not cool with it. I can tell you this. Having talked to Ken Dorsey, who worked in that organization, you're not wrong, M. Reyes. You got ownership believing one thing and you got the players telling you another thing. There's not enough good players on the team. And the organization believes that they're putting good players on the team. They're not. They're not putting good players on the team. And talking with Ken Dorsey, Sean McDermott, that was his biggest bitch. Oh, I did text Milton Williams. We're going to talk about Milton. We'll do that. So wait a minute. You know what? God, we can go all over the place here. That's a great storyline. How many people in here think Jordan Davis is a better football player than Milton Williams? I don't. I do not believe that. I do not believe that. And if you do, you're lying. You're lying. Okay? Milton Williams is a better ball player. And they're pretty much the same age. This is his third Super Bowl in 4 years. That guy was a force in that ball game last night. He was a force. I didn't see Jordan Davis play like that. Okay, how about this? Last year, Milton Williams played his ass off. Milton Williams has gotten better from a year ago. He's better. And he's better this year. How many people think Jordan Davis is not a better ball player than him? I mean, watch. Use your eyes. He's a 3-down guy. Moro Jomo did a nice job this year. Moro Jomo didn't replace Milton Williams. You know what everyone said? Can't sign them all, Sills. Okay. So you choose more Jordan Davis, the lesser player. Okay. The lesser player because he was a first rounder. Milton's better. Milton's getting better. Okay. Milton's getting, get this. Milton has panned out. They're in the freaking Super Bowl. No matter what happens going forward, the Milton Williams contract in New England has paid off. You're in the Super Bowl. Milt is the best Pat free agent since Gilmore, star player. He's a star. Dude, I posted a couple plays that he made in that game. This guy was picking up those Bronco O-linemen who were considered one of the better O-lines in football, and he was torturing them. Dude, I mean, you moved off of that guy. You may not sign Jalen Phillips, and the lesser player is Jordan Davis. How old is Jordan Davis? Let's take a look at that. I want to double check on age. So let me see what Jordan Davis's age is. See what that age is on this guy. He's 26. What's Milton Williams' age? Milton Williams. Milton Williams is 26. Milton Williams is a better ball player. And plus, I could play him up and down the line of scrimmage if I had to. I could play him at nose, I could play him at defensive tackle, and I could play him at end. He's a better ball player. You chose wrong. You chose, 27 in April. Okay. He's 10 months older. You chose wrong. And you developed him. You made him into the player he was. No wonder Vic tried trading for him when he was the DC in Miami. You chose wrong. But because Jordan Davis was the 13th pick in the draft, that's why, hey, Jordan Davis is a good ball player. He ain't Milton Williams. He's not Milton Williams. Milton Williams is, they were playing him all up and down the line of scrimmage. Did you see the positions they had 97 lined up at? Dude, I was explicitly watching him and how he played. They moved him inside, they moved him outside, they moved him into a wide 9, 7s, 3s. He was, all the things that you said that, he couldn't do, that he wouldn't be an impact. He was a complete impact on that team. And when you look at him and you're watching how that Patriots defense performed in the front 7 in that bad weather, Williams was a force in that thing. I mean, Sills, this season stats and money difference says Howie chose correctly. Oh, hey, my friend, use your eyeball test. Do you really believe that Jordan Davis is a better player than Milton Williams? And will he be? No, he won't be. Milton's more skilled and they're the same age. And you drafted the guy in the 3rd round. That was a quality premium pick. Sills, we can't pay them all. Okay. You better sign these guys to a contract extension. I mean, you're giving Jordan Davis Milton Williams money, and he's not Milton Williams. Sounds like a bad move. Howie is going to pay more for a lesser talent and more versatile player. Jordan Davis is not more versatile than Milton Williams. He can't play outside. Howie is going to pay more for a lesser player and more versatile player. Jordan Davis is clearly not a more versatile player, but I hear you there, Trev. You could have played, and with the way Vic played, and this is what we talked about with Josh Sweat. Sweat and Milton were versatile players that could play all up and down the line of scrimmage. You didn't have that affordability. You had to go out of the building to bring in Jalen Phillips because you had to just equal that a little bit in what you lost. No, I got it, Trev. I know kind of what you meant. He's going to pay more for a lesser player and a less versatile player. I got it. I got it, Trev. Milton is more versatile, better bang for your buck. Yeah, get this. Think about this for Milton Williams. You're paid $26 million for the guy, right? Well, can the guy play multiple positions? Can he play end? And can he play DT? And if you had to, could you put him over the nose? Yeah, well, the more you can do, the more worth the value of that contract is. If I pay Jordan Davis, he plays nose tackle, and he's only cemented in there on 1st and 2nd down. He's gotten better on 3rd down. He's nowhere near the player. He's nowhere near the player of Milton Williams and his versatility. And they're the same age almost. That's a miss. That's a miss in calculation. That's ego. That's the Eagles thinking, hey, we'll get the same shit out of a Jomo. Just put the tape on and watch the guys play. They're nowhere in the same room. I mean, and there's a chance you may lose Clint Hurt, who developed all them guys. Clint Hurt, if the money's right, from what I'm understanding, he's going to take that DC job with the Miami Dolphins. He's going to take that gig. Jeff Hafley wants him as the DC. And he loves Clint Hurt. Plus, he's a Miami guy, went to school at the University of Miami. Don't be shocked if Jason Taylor doesn't come over and coach the defensive line for the Dolphins. So what I think could happen is that Jason Taylor comes over, coaches the defensive line, and Clint Hurt's the DC. That's how I think this is going to plan out and how it's going to work out. Because Mario Cristobal told me that Jason Taylor is interviewed for the defensive line job with the Miami Dolphins. Okay? Listen, I'd love him to stay in Philly and be the heir apparent. I've texted him numerous times on that. I said, dude, they love you in Philly, man, and they want you here. I'm a Tracy Rocker guy, but you improved the defensive tackle play, and Jordan Davis benefited a ton with you being here. He goes, Sills, I think they're going to offer me the DC job. I'm like, hey, man, that's big money, guys. Now, would the Eagles come up and bump that money up? I don't know. Jordan Davis was a bad pick. No. Jordan Davis was drafted too high. He's still a good player. Nobody has, listen, he's turned the corner, came in shape, played a ton better, but get this. He played to some expectations on what you thought he was going to play when he first came from Georgia. It's only taken him 3 years to get here. Milton Williams has gotten better, and would we not agree one thing on Milton Williams? Milton Williams got better and better 3 years in a row in Philly. He got better when they first initially started playing him. He got better as you started seeing him get more elevated time. He was getting better and better and better and better. And now in New England, he's even better, given more of a significant role. He's their version of, how about this? I'll make this too. He had a better year than Jalen Carter. He had more impact. He outplayed Jalen Carter, and he outplayed Jordan Davis this year. He was a better ball player. And they developed him, asked him, put him in different roles. You know why he didn't make like Pro Bowl stuff? Because he was used in different multiple positions. You said the Rams were the best team, even though I said Seattle was going to win that game. Marsh, you must have missed. You didn't hear me right. I said Seattle was going to win the football game on Friday. And they'd win that game 38-31. I picked them to win that game. Go back on Friday's show. You know, we were all rooting for the Rams for Pat Callahan. But I even told Xander in our segment, Seattle's the better team, the best team in football right now. And they're proving that out. Sills Vrabel turned him into an animal. Mike Vrabel is a great coach. How that guy got out of Tennessee. I mean, what were the parameters that the Adams family that owns the owns the Titans? What did you land on where you said Mike Vrabel isn't our coach? How did you come to that determination? I mean, how did you get there? Will the Eagles ever hire a defensive-minded coach ever again? Probably not. Probably not. Hopefully Clint Hurt lets Howie match the Dolphins' offer. It's not so much, Chuck, about matching the offer. It's about running your own moat and castle. You know what I mean? You get a chance to implement your own style of play. This is how you get a head coaching gig. You get a head coaching gig, you go up through the ranks, become a DC, then you get an opportunity to become a head football coach maybe one day. Dude, I'm with you. How did the Titans land on that, man? Let's see. Sills McVay flexing on the sidelines over and over was very Siriannis, hell of a play caller, but the guy's annoying. Not only that, 7 minutes left in the game. You go for it on that fourth down bullshit call they called. You're down 4. Seattle starts running the ball and taking time off the clock, right? You then punt it away, and you have to go 92 yards, I think it was, for a game-winning touchdown with 2 minutes left in the game, maybe even less than 2 minutes left in the game. You had to kick it. If you take the points, you can go 50 yards instead of 92 yards to give yourself an opportunity to win the ball game. Nope. These nerds and these analytic guys, that's not a feel for the game, man. Sean Payton, too. I tweeted this out in the first half of that game. Stidham threw a great pass down the sideline, like a 48-yard completion. They're in the red zone. He goes for it on fourth down. And I'm like, bro, you're going to regret those 3 points. Then the snow came. The weather came. Lost by 3. Dude, playoff football, take the points. You had a backup quarterback. Weather was rapidly decreasing and getting worse. Cost yourself a ball game because of your ego and your arrogance. Hey, whether it's Jared Stidham, who hasn't thrown a pass in 3 years, or it's Bo Nix, I'm Sean Payton. I'm going to get him across the finish line. Well, guess what, dude? You coached yourself out of an AFC title game, or at least a chance to win it in overtime. That's on you. Take the points. So I'm starting to put a list of 15 names. It's going to go down after free agency. I got Woods, Tomu Terrell, Proctor are a few. Okay? We'll get into that here in a minute. Sills, Milton Williams' season is 15 tackles, 3.5 sacks. That's all. So when you put on the tape and you watch Milton Williams play and you watch Jordan Davis play, let's see where that defense finished in New England this year. By the way, you want to hear something about the Patriots? Patriots are 9-0 on the road. First team ever to do that. They did not lose a road game this year. New England Patriots, 8th-ranked defense in pro football. They were the 8th-ranked defense. Bills, Seahawks, Chargers, Browns, of course, with Myles Garrett. Vikings, of course, with Brian Flores. Broncos and Texans. So let me see this here. The Seahawks have the 6th-ranked defense. And the Patriots have the 8th-ranked defense. And they're in the Super Bowl. What did I tell you? Defense travels. Seals, weren't the Titans with Mad Mike went to the Patriots event? And, yeah, that was when he went. I think it was for him getting inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame, why he was sitting in the booth. And I think that probably aggravated the Titan people. It was his off week, I think it was. And there he was up in the booth there with Bob Kraft. Got to be a sting for the Niner fans to watch the Seahawks play in their stadium in the Super Bowl. Absolutely. By the way, kudos to Mike McDonald. You know, I talk about Sean McVay being young. Take a look how old that guy is. And then you got Vrabel on the other side. If you told me Sam Darnold and Drake May were going to be in the Super Bowl facing one another, shit, you could have had Jared Stidham and Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. Elite quarterbacks win Super Bowls. Once again, your bullshit notion that Hurts won the MVP award and that makes him elite is flawed just in what we saw this past weekend. It's flawed. Elite quarterbacks win Super Bowl MVPs. Really? So let me take a look at the quarterbacks so we're in the Final Four. Jared Stidham, Sam Darnold, guys who were fired, Drake May, and the old dog, Matthew Stafford. And he just got sent home by a guy who threw for 363 yards and was a journeyman. Good night. Elite. Super Bowl MVP, Sills. Oh. Ant? Pat's never given 60 yards rushing with Milt playing. Thank you. Guy's a great ball player, man. Sills, if no OC wants to come to town, what happens? It's spreading like wildfire about our OC's role and being scapegoated early. Of course it is. Nobody wants that job. You know why nobody wants the Eagle job? The chances of them having success with Jalen Hurts this coming year is 0. You lose Lane, Goddard, and AJ. Offensive coordinators take that job. They don't know the status of those three men. They don't know the health of Cam Jurgens. They don't know the health of Landon. Why would you take that job? There's more question marks for the job than the job being a good job to take. What are you doing with AJ? Well, we'll address that later, okay? What are you doing with Goddard? We'll address that later. What are you doing with Lane? Is he retiring? We don't know yet. We're waiting to hear. What's up with Barkley? Hey, Cam Jurgens, is he going to need another surgery this offseason? What about Landon? He looks like a shell of himself. The offensive line looks like a shell of himself. Oh, and by the way, I have to keep Jeff Stoutland as my run coordinator? Yes. Okay. Well, these are questions people ask when they take the job. What kind of job is it? I wrote this down here. Let's get to the topics here. Here. Nobody wants the Eagle OC job, or is it that the Eagles have put too many definitions on what the job entails? Okay, so let's figure it out here. Say you want the OC job in Philly. Let's not even name a name yet. Okay? Let's not even do the name. Let's just put what the job is, okay? Here. Okay? Lane, AJ. What else is on that offense? Lane, AJ, Goddard. Let's just start with those three. Because, let's give the benefit of the doubt. Cam will be better and Landon will be better. Not that I think they're going to be, but let's just give them the benefit. Okay? It's 1 year. I'm going to give them the benefit. I think after the Super Bowl MVP, Hurts got full. It got full. Stop trying to get better. AJ started tweeting last April, any quarterbacks available in Philly. Hurts' issue. Tyler, I thought that tweet that AJ put out, are there any quarterbacks available in Philly, was a telling thing. Nobody bought into it. We brought it up here. So here, you're the new OC. Lane, AJ, and Goddard. Most likely will not be on the team. Why can't it be OC don't like Shaddy Nicky offense? Yes, could be that. Here, Marsh. You have to keep Stoutland. Okay, keep Stoutland. Not that I think that's a bad thing, but a new offensive coordinator can't bring his own run coordinator in. So you don't know what Lane is. You don't know AJ. You don't know Goddard. Do you know Jeff Stoutland? Because you might not know him, but he's in charge of your run offense. So you're the offensive coordinator. You're not really in charge of your football offense, are you? How can you be an offensive coordinator when you're not in charge of your offensive run game? There lies the problem. You're not in charge of your own run game. You're hiring a pass guy because Jeff Stoutland's got the run game down. So you got four things that you already have in your way on taking the job. One, and let's get to the quarterback, Hurts. He's limited in how he throws the ball from the pocket. Left, right, not across the middle. They don't utilize wide receiver 3. They don't have a spread offense. It's not a pro-style offense. So you don't have a pro-style quarterback. So here are the 5 things. Lane Johnson's future, A.J. Brown's future, Goddard's future. Jeff Stoutland is in charge of your run game before you even get the job. And Hurts is not a pro-style quarterback. You want the job? No. I'd rather go back to LSU. I'd rather stay in Chicago with Ben Johnson than to go there and be part of that. That's just like a dude. When you're the offensive coordinator in Philly, you're a dude. You're not giving anything to coach. You have no control of your run game as an offensive coordinator. So, like, when they're coming up with plays for the quarterback to run, does Jeff Stoutland go like this? Is he the one that is the guy calling the run plays? Or is it the offensive coordinator doing it? Can Jeff, if he's the run coordinator, does he over or veto the play call? Hey, we're going to run I think we should run this. That's not OCing. That's not OCing. That's why you got 14 names. You've got 14 names who you've had conversations with about the offensive coordinating gig. 14. The OC job in Philly's about control. They need someone who the front office can control. Big names won't come here. It's the same with the head coach. Any outspoken players buy in or get fired. Look at this. You can't call your own run plays, I don't think. Your quarterback's not a pro-style quarterback. Goddard's not going to be here. AJ most likely is not, 50-50. And Lane is 50-50 on retirement. And if you're thinking about retiring, you're already retired. This is why you got 14 names. This is what I believe. I believe that job, the definition of the offensive coordinating job is probably different compared to every job that's out there. Mike McDaniel officially takes the Charger job and works with Jim Harbaugh and, of course, Justin Herbert. Are you to believe, or anybody to believe, that the Spanos family is better than Jeffrey Lurie? I don't believe that. There's no chance. Dean Spanos, a better owner than Jeffrey Lurie? No way. No way. But you have Justin Herbert and you have Jim Harbaugh. And they're going to add components, and they got cap room to make some moves. A.J. Brown to Los Angeles, that team would win the Super Bowl with that defense they have. You guys saw that defense up close and personal. They're like a big playmaker away, the Chargers, from winning the Super Bowl. And most likely, when you think of that AFC West, you got to continue to get better. Kansas City's going to get better again. Denver was in the AFC Championship game. You're going to have a team in that AFC Championship game from the West, I think, for the next couple of years to come. Because that division is awful good. Okay? That's a great division, that AFC West. Greg Roman, if he wants the job, they should give it to him. I like Greg Roman. Greg Roman's worked with Lamar. I think that'd be a nice fit. I don't have a problem with Cooter being your offensive coordinator. He did good work with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is going to get a contract extension in Indianapolis because of what Shane Steichen and what Cooter did with the quarterback. They're going to give him a 3-year contract extension this offseason. What decent OC would want the job? Nick sticking his nose in your offense. If they tell you otherwise, they're lying. The offensive line's in shambles. The best wide receiver may be gone. Okay? Can we rework AJ's deal to give him a lump of cash this year and make it easier for a deadline trade if we are being asked again? Dude, you're not better without AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown wants out. I don't think the Eagles want to let him go because they know they won't be better. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. You've got to have players like that in your offense. Hurts is not going to take a guy who's on the other side of his career like Cooper Kupp and make Cooper Kupp into a Super Bowl quarterback. That's not what they do, and that's not who that dude is. You know, the older Jalen Hurts gets older and the more he gets up there in age, the less his wheels are going to be part of his game. And then you're going to be relying on his arm. And if you're relying on his arm in Philly, it's over. This team is better without the cancer in the locker room. Who? Hurts? Kupp dropped that ball too. I don't believe he's the same player. I don't. Have you looked at Drake May's 2025 playoff stats compared to Hurts' 24 playoff stats. One is MVP and one's carried. Keep the same energy. Well, here, let's take a look at that. Jalen Hurts. Let's go to his first Super Bowl like Drake May. Let's go to 2020. 2022, Jalen Hurts. Playoff games. Let's take a look at that. (2022) postseason playoff games. Let's see here. 3 games. Jalen Hurts, 16 of 24, 154 yards against the Giants. Next game, San Francisco, 15 of 25 for 120 yards. And then the Super Bowl. We'll see what May does in the Super Bowl. I don't know. Those aren't overwhelming stats for Hurts' first Super Bowl appearance. Same with Drake May. I don't know. Hurts was a backup in the NCAA at May's age. Sills, I don't think as fans that we'll have to look past 26. If they fail again, he and Nick will be gone. Okay, well then you tell me, why doesn't anybody want the Eagle job and you're talking to 14 different people? What do you think? By the way, once again, you can output that. Do you remember, I love our topics because when we ask you these topics, some of you just think we're just filling time or something. Remember when I asked Xander Krause, can you get to a Super Bowl with a average quarterback? And everybody then started to think that I was trying to fool them. And everyone thought, well, hey. And I asked you last week because I set you guys up again. If Sam Darnold gets to the Super Bowl, he's 2-1 now. He's won 31 ball games in 2 years. You think he's elite? How can you dispute this? 31 games. He's 2-1 in the playoffs. Remember what I told Xander too? He shit the bed last year in those playoff games in that ending game. I said, you don't think he learned? Like Hurts learned in that 2021 year when he got crushed by Brady? He sure fucking did. 363 and 3 TDs in an NFC title game. That's nothing to shit at. I mean, he's officially now 2-1 in the postseason. And he's won 31 ball games. And if he wins the Super Bowl, he won 32 games in 2 years. I don't know. They're 16-3. Counting the playoffs, the Seahawks are 16-3. Okay. I mean, Kraft's net worth is estimated at approximately $11.1 billion, while Lori's net wealth is valued at around 5.2. I don't think that really has anything to do with anything other than the fact that Bob Kraft was a spectacular businessman, and he first initially, when he bought the Patriots from Victor Kiam, he started buying property up around Foxborough, and he made that mall area around the stadium, and eventually Victor Kiam sold him the team. And in that process, since he's owned the team, this is the 11th Super Bowl that Bob Kraft is going to now. I don't care what you say. Guys has a shot at winning his 7th Super Bowl. There's no debate who the best owner in the free agency period has been. It's Robert Kraft. That's more wins than Dak, but y'all glaze him. Dak Prescott is a great player. Dak Prescott is in an organization that's not helping him. Okay, Marsh, what do you think the difference then with Sam Darnold is? He was fired in New York, with the Jets. Marsh, he was fired in New York by the Jets. He was fired in Carolina by the Panthers and David Tepper. He didn't last in San Francisco. He turns his career around in Minnesota, goes to Seattle, does the same shit, and now he's 60 minutes from a Super Bowl. What's been the difference, Marsh? You think being in a good organization with good players around him has helped Sam Darnold? Having great players around him? Great coaching around him? You think that played a factor? No? What's been the turnaround? What do you think? He woke up one night? He's Tom Brady. What turned it around for him? What do you think? Sills, for the sake of argument, we lose AJ. Who should the Eagles realistically go after? I think you're going to go after a draft pick. Okay? I saw something in here. Sam Darnold was a top 10 pick. That had no bearing with the Jets. That had no bearing with the Carolina Panthers. That had no bearing with the 49ers. That really had no bearing with the Minnesota Vikings. They let him go too. Everybody thought he was just a dude. How many people on our own network thought he was just a guy and that he would turn into a pumpkin? 10th pick meant shit. Didn't mean anything. Guy was fired 5 times. Now he's 60 minutes from a Super Bowl. What changed? Maybe he's around a good organization? Can you imagine if Sam Darnold had been parachuted into Seattle from the very start? It may have been a bumpy ride at the beginning. But what ended up happening? He's putting elite performances up. You don't want to call him elite? His performances are. His performances are elite. Oh, dude. Let me tell you something, man. That kid, JSN, that dude is a special ball player. I thought the guy in Cincinnati was, and the guy in Minnesota, those are the two best receivers in football at catching the football with their hands. Holy shit. That guy in Seattle is a ball player. He gets open in space. That dude is special, man. He is a special player. Puka Nacua, two best wide receivers in football, may have been in that ball game yesterday. You bet, man. Mike McDonald, most underrated coach in the NFL. And a defensive-minded guy, too, by the way. Yeah, that's a great comparison, 24. JSN reminds him of Steve Smith. That's a damn good comparison. Tough, speedy, plays in space well, spectacular hands. JSN is a ball player, dude. I mean, he's a great player. The biggest loser of last night's games, the Vikings. How the fuck do you let Sam Darnold walk and keep McCarthy? Vikings have to stick with JJ now. Leon, you are dead on, man. You imagine, hey, how about this too, Leon? You got Justin Fields in New York, and you have JJ McCarthy in Minnesota, and Darnold 60 minutes from a Super Bowl. You have to look at if you're Ziggy Welf, the owner of the Vikings, and you're Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, how are you not doing this? What are we doing here? What are we doing? How do you let that walk out the building with no compensation? You didn't get a bag of Skittles for the guy. He just walked. You said this. Hey, Sam, I'll see you. Minnesota didn't believe in him. They thought he was a product of the system. This just in. He did the same shit in Seattle. The same shit. Dude, Darnold's got great players around him. But when you put remember Kyle Shanahan saying when he had him for a little bit in San Francisco? Remember what he said? This dude can play. This dude can play. And you know what? I thought it was just coach talk. But Kyle Shanahan said it. This guy can play. This guy's a special player. Then he goes to Minnesota. They think he's a product of that environment. Last 2 games soured everybody, including me. And then he turns it around. He learned from Sam Darnold learned from his failures. And he's 2-1 now in the postseason. This guy's won 2 playoff games. Says, all BS aside, how he has problems. How does he fix them, or can he? I think a lot of this has to do with a disgruntled player. Here, you took a shit on Goddard. You're not making that up. Unless Goddard goes like this, don't worry about it. Don't worry about the $5 million and my family had to cut off my paycheck. Hey, don't worry about it. Next opportunity comes. You don't think Dallas Goedert's going to bolt? Why wouldn't he? Cut the guy's fucking pay. Why would he come back? Dallas Goedert's going to do this. Hey, someone gives me a raise in a 2-year contract, I'm out. He's going to take the bag of money. And you shit on him. Everybody got a pay raise last year but him. And you were successful and you won. He's the only guy that got a pay cut. How do you make that up? Here's an extra 10. Right? All right. Then you got AJ. I agree with everybody. I agree with Xander. I agree with John. I agree with everybody in Philly that covers the team. Eagles don't want to get rid of this guy. AJ wants out. Now I see why he wanted to go to New England. Now I see why he wants to be with the Patriots. Now I see why he wants to go to a team that's the best and the gold standard of today's NFL is New England. New England's the gold standard. They're the gold standard in NFL football. Bob Kraft's 11th Super Bowl. Shit, there's only 60 of them that have been played. It's the franchise's 12th. I mean, there's no debating it. There's just no debating it. They haven't sucked long enough. Dude, they were great for 20 years. They had 4 down years. They find Vrabel, put him in the building, back in a Super Bowl. Unbelievable ownership, unbelievable empowering of his coaches. You know what you got to love about Bob Kraft? Bob Kraft hires a coach, go do your job. What do you want? I want Josh McDaniels. Hey, here's another one for you. Josh McDaniels is the best offensive coordinator in pro football. And that's not a debate. Sills, he wasn't a good head coach. He's not in New England to be the head coach. He's in New England to get the best out of the quarterback he possibly can and to win ball games. An offensive coordinator's responsibility is not to put a bunch of points up. According to you guys in Philly, isn't it about putting wins up? How can you shit on Josh McDaniels and use that same measuring stick that you have for Sirianni? Well, I don't care how it looks, they win. Well, that's what the Patriots do with Josh McDaniels. Oh, I see. It only works in Philly. Sure. Chargers might release Becton. Bring him back. I'd like to see his physical because he was banged up all last year too. It's a great take here. McDaniels had Castle. How about this? Matt Castle, they won 11 ball games when Brady went down. That was the year that Chad Pennington won the AFC East with the Dolphins. Brady went down in the Kansas City opener. And the Dolphins, I think that's the last time like the Dolphins won the division. And Castle won 11 games. He ends up going to Kansas City and won the division title in Kansas City. And hear this, Matt Castle he never started a down at USC because he had Carson Palmer there and Matt Leinart. Belichick drafted his ass too. Mac was very good his rookie year. Then McDaniels left and it went to shit. Yeah, that probably sounds right. Because that's when Belichick started thinking he was an OC and such. That thing just ended poorly. Still, Sam still needs to finish. He still needs to finish it, but isn't this more of an indictment on Allen and Lamar that Drake and Darnold are in the Super Bowl? You're missing the point. No, it's not. Those guys are on better football teams. Sam Darnold is nowhere in the Allen and Lamar talent. He's a good player, a really good player. It's more of an indictment on the organization. Why do you think Sam Darnold's a better player? Why do you think he's a better ball player? Because he just woke up? Or because he had better coaching and better players around him? All of a sudden, now he's better? Come on, man. Everyone that is saying that about the Bills are not a good team. They're okay. They're okay. Kraft pushed Bill out because Bill thought Tom was done. Kraft pushed him out because Kraft thought it was time to reboot. And he was right. The thing that sucked is the Jared Mayo hire. That's the only blemish in this last 4 years that Robert Kraft has, because he was more of a scapegoat and a bridge. And unfortunately, Jared Mayo was the collateral damage in this. I think he's a good coach. I just don't think he's a head coach. And then they ended up getting, and by the way, everybody had a shot at Mike Vrabel. Nobody hired him. Eagles had a shot at him after Nick's 23 disaster. Nobody thought of bringing him in. He said he wanted to coach. Lamar has had built teams. Now, I agree with this. I think he's played with some really good football teams. I think the last 2 years, it's kind of gone the other way defensively a little bit. And I think it's kind of run its course a bit. 26 is going to be a tell-all year, in my opinion, for Lamar in Baltimore. Of all the guys, there's no doubt that he's had the better organization. Look, Ozzie Newsome is still in there. Eric DeCosta's still in there. It's a really well-run organization. So you're right on Lamar. There's really no excuses for him. Sills, after all Darnold has been through, his passer last night, he was happy to be in Seattle's organization. I'm happy for the player. I am too. Remember when Rich McKay, and I'll just give you guys a small test of what happened to me. Hey, dude, I go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm a 3-technique defensive tackle. I'm a one-gap guy. I'm a defensive guy who likes to get into the penetrating of the offensive line, get into the backfield, and create plays. Buccaneers drafted me to be a nose. I never played the position in my entire life, and that includes bitty football. I had never played it. I didn't even know the technique. I didn't know how to put your hands, your feet. I had never played nose. And they brought me in there, and Rich McKay said it on this program. You don't draft a 3-technique defensive tackle, bring him in and go, hey, guess what? I don't want you to do anything you did in college to get you here. I want you to do something completely different. That's kind of what they do at Sam Darnold and a lot of players. Dude, it's totally where you get drafted. If you got good coaching, they're going to figure out. And, this goes to Xander's point a little bit. At the end of the day, is Nick done the right thing with Hurts? Yeah, but here's the problem you have, guys, moving forward. Hurts is not going to get better. He can't. He's limited in his limitations. Where's he going to get better? As a passer? No. Route concepts? Can't find them. Why do you think people are turning this job down left and right? They know this. This was never going to be a big window. The Jalen Hurts era has been a massive success. The Carson Wentz window was a success. Got a Super Bowl out of it. You won home field advantage. Wentz played at an MVP level at one time. Sometimes these things last a long period of time, and sometimes they last a short period of time. Look at NFL history. Just look at the history of the league. Some guys are like long careers. Some guys are short careers. Okay? Why is that, Sil? Seriously. It's because the league catches up to your skill set. What made Brady great was that he kept evolving in his football IQ, but Brady had the skill set. Check down, check. How about this? Skipper, do you think Jalen Hurts will ever develop a check down game? Check down, check down, check down, check down, check down, check down. Check down, check down, check down, check down. Brady won 7 Super Bowls. Check down, check down. He wasn't a high volume, deep passer. The only time he ever did that is when he had Moss. And that was for a short period of time. The rest of them, check down, slot, check down, tight end, check down, tight end, slot, check down, slot, tight end. Do you think there's anything to the point that even Patrick Mahomes, the number one wide receivers and the number one targets in an Andy Reid offense are the tight ends in Philly and in Kansas City? They weren't deep threat balls. That's why they could live without Tyreek Hill. They couldn't live without Kelsey. Okay? Eduardo, yeah, Big Z is at 3:30, and Gary Cobb from Fox 29 in Philly will be with us at 4:30. Howard Eskin will be with us tomorrow. That'll be at 4:30, by the way. I think Josh Allen and the Bills are in trouble because the Patriots are only going to get better, which may lead to the Bills' window of opportunity to close rapidly. I don't think that's a shitty take. You had a couple of years by yourself owning that division, and now the Patriots are back. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. It was a matter of time. Dude, ask yourself if you're the Cowboys. How come Jerry Jones has never been able to duplicate what Bob Kraft has done? Kraft has done it 3 times. Parcells, Bledsoe, Brady, Belichick, Vrabel, May. Jerry Jones did it once. Dude, I'll even give Howie credit. Right? Wentz, Foles, Doug, Nick, Jalen. That's hard to do, man. Kansas City hasn't done that. Rams, to some extent, when they were in St. Louis, did it with Vermeil and with Warner, and then with McVay and with Stafford. Kind of. That was different ownership. That was Charlie Army, the general manager of the Rams in St. Louis with Vermeil. Les Snead and Kevin Demoff they're different in Los Angeles, and that's Stan Kroenke. When are we going to hold Nick accountable for his stupidity? What is 50 and 18? Every single time you guys, including me, talk shit on Sirianni, doesn't match the reality. However, the reality is also coordinators are doing this. This is Nick's show. Here's how I read this. Okay? Here's how I read it. This is Nick's show. He's the OC. He determines how this offense is going to run. He's got a run game coordinator in Jeff Stoutland. He's not getting rid of Jeff Stoutland. So when you take the job, you've got to learn to work with Nick and Howie. And if you don't learn to work with Nick and Howie, Same way Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore got that job because he learned how to work with the analytics people, Nick, and he learned how to work with Howie. Get this. So Kellen Moore is not a run guy. You know what he did? He basically turned the offense over to Jeff Stoutland. Jeff Stoutland had more responsibility on Kellen Moore getting that job than what Nick Sirianni did. Who was the run coordinator last year with the Eagles? Wasn't Nick. It was Stoutland. Stoutland did more for Kellen Moore getting that job than Nick Sirianni ever did. Pass game still blew. You were 28th. Pass game didn't get better. Jeff Stoutland is the reason that Kellen Moore got that job in New Orleans. Not Nick Sirianni. I mean, that was the reason that Cliff Kingsbury didn't get the gig. Hey, and for the record, I'm not firing Jeff Stoutland either. I'm not. But be prepared on the kind of guy you're going to get. A guy with a couple dents in it. Kellen Moore had been fired twice. Those are the guys you're going to get. Or, hey, you want to hear something that I think will happen? You could hire a guy with no experience again. 50-18 is what he's holding above everybody's head. It looks horrible and stupid, but it's pretty fucking impressive. Yeah. Okay, so they got bounced in the playoffs. They made the playoffs every year he's been in Philly. He's got 2 NFC title rings. He's got a Super Bowl championship in the last 4 years. He's 50-18. If you're a coordinator coming in, you know this. Then you look at, and they tell you your questions. Surely you have questions for the job. What's up with Lane? Yeah, we don't know yet. Okay. What about AJ? Working on it. Okay. Goddard. Not sure what we're going to do there yet. Okay. Jeff Stoutland is your run coordinator. Yeah, you have to work with Jeff. I don't know Jeff. Well, you got to work with him. Okay. Hurts is not a pro-style quarterback. No, we're going to run this style of offense with him in the passing game. Well, why you hired me? What's my job description? Well, you're going to come in here and we're going to give you plays to call. Okay, wait. What about my plays? Well, we'll sprinkle about 25% of your plays in if they work with our offense and our approach. You want me to come in here like Brian Johnson and take Nick's playbook and call Nick's plays. Why doesn't Nick just call the plays? You need a scapegoat in case it goes wrong. I'm out. I'm calling plays that are Nick's plays. Fuck that. If I'm going to slam the ship into the Titanic, into the iceberg, I'm going to drive the boat. I'm not going to let Nick drive me into the iceberg and kill me. If I'm going down with the ship, I'm driving the boat. I'm not being a guy on the boat, knowing the boat's going to hit the berg, and you survive, but I don't. Not happening. Why would I want that? I'd rather stick with Ben Johnson in Chicago. I mean, still, there's rumors even Bobby Slowick is pulling away from the Eagles. Something is happening. He's getting the OC job in Miami. By the way, I'll tell you what Bobby Slowick said to Drew Rosenhaus and all them dudes down there about the interview he had with the Eagles. Damn, dude, you get that job in Philly? Man, there is a lot of dudes in the room with a lot of opinions. I couldn't get more out of that, but that told me all I needed to know. He goes, there's a lot of dudes in that room. And there's a lot of people who have decisions in that room. And when you walk into that OC job, if you're not willing to take a knee, that's not your job. Slowick is going to take a job in Miami as the OC, and he doesn't even know who his fucking quarterback is. And you're working for a defensive guy, which is kind of a good thing. So get this. Bobby Slowick and Brian Dable would rather go to work in Tennessee and in Miami than in Philly with your impressive 50-18 record over the last 4 years. Why is that? I couldn't get who's in the room. I mean, how's that possible? Tennessee and Miami? Look, how good are those jobs? I mean, Tank for Tua, Cam Ward. Right? I mean, what are we doing? Matt Nagy's not bad. I don't have a problem with Matt Nagy. I actually think Matt Nagy's not a bad coach. I'm okay with that. Just how do you think Mark feels about DeMarcus Lawrence going to the Super Bowl with Seattle and not the Cowboys? He said it perfectly when he exited. Too much bullshit going on in Dallas. There wasn't a commitment in the room for the football team and the roster to get better. He's turned out to be right. He's a Pro Bowl player. Actually, I think he's an all-pro player, and he's going to a Super Bowl. He was right. There wasn't a commitment. Big Seals, if the Eagles get their run game going, do you think we will be a Super Bowl competitor next season? Yeah, you get that run game going, yeah. Because that'll make Hurts better. That'll be the key. It's not your pass game next year. Screw the pass game. You don't get your run game going, and you're where you are right now, you're going to be in the same boat. But what you're going to do is you're going to be a year older. Your offensive line's going to be a year older. Your center and your left guard has question marks. Hey, look, as good as Tyler Steen was this year, I thought he was a guy. The most replaceable starter on your football team could be Tyler Steen. Clearly in the offense, Jahan Dotson too, because you don't do shit with that receiver 3 spot. He only had 29 catches the entire year in the 3 hole. I mean, you go into a game with 10 men in the huddle. You don't use that 3 guy. And the quarterback will be older. And you think the quarterback, as he gets older, he's going to run more? I mean, based on what? Running backs get older. Yeah, Steelers should have kept Smith and bring him up. Here's something with the Steeler hire. So Mike McCarthy becomes the head football coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. You land on him after you fire Mike Tomlin? I mean, the criticism was Mike Tomlin hadn't won a playoff game in a bit, and that Mike Tomlin hadn't won a Super Bowl in a while since, 12? Okay. Or going all the way back when he first started. I think it's Mike McCarthy hadn't won since 12. I mean, you hired the same guy, if not worse. So you go from Tomlin to Mike McCarthy? Make that make sense. I mean, where's the upgrade? Oh, wait, I know. You might want to try to talk Aaron Rodgers into retiring, a 43-year-old guy? That's your plan? Yeah, I got an idea. Let's bring Mike McCarthy in and hope we can talk the 43-year-old quarterback out of retiring. Where are you going? Right. I would have hired Brian Flores too. By the way, I'd have hired Brian Flores. It would have went down the line of the last two hires with Cowher and with Tomlin. Made more sense. I would have totally given him the opportunity. He'd have been there 15 years. Okay? This is probably why he got hired. He was at the brand of the Packers, Cowboys, and now Steelers. That's probably why. And he won a Super Bowl. This time they bought the Super Bowl, though. Those other guys won it in Pittsburgh. You're bringing a dude in that won it somewhere else and 2 stops previous. Right? Dallas, right? Dallas and Green Bay. So he won that thing two stops previous. All right. Hey, congratulations. I like Brian Flores. I didn't think he did a bad job in Miami. I thought he changed the culture around. Seals, would you sign Linderbaum? I like that guy. I do. And kick Jurgens a guard? Hey, my friend, you just paid Cam Jurgens $20 million annually to play right guard? And so you're gonna go $25 million for Mulata, 20 for Landon, 25 for Linderbaum, 20 for Cam at right guard, and 25 for Lane? I mean, guys, let's see here. That's 50, 40, 90. That's $120 million of your salary cap in 5 dudes. You're not paying $120 million in 5 dudes. Your cap's going to be like 287. And you're going to spend in 5 guys 120 of that. With a $50 million, and this deal kicks in, $50 million quarterback, a $20 million back, and 2 wide receivers, one at 32 and one at 25. Bro, how are you signing Carter? How are you attempting to sign Jalen Phillips? How are you going to give, and are you going to give Jordan Davis money? Who goes? Here's what you got to do. Lane retires. That money comes off. Goddard's 10 million, 12 million comes off. So there's 37 million. That's for Carter. Signing Phillips? I saw somebody post something and said his market value $17 million. $17 million. Jalen Phillips is going to command $25 million. $17 million. You better up your pocketbook there, Junior. How he's making CTE moves before and after that beer can hit him in the head. Yeah, I mean, nobody wants the OC gig. Why? Hey, and by the way, I'll go back a little bit here too. So let me take a look at something here. And I got to tell you, man, I was watching Milton Williams play the position, and I was watching him play. Man, that guy's good. That guy has gotten better and better and better and better. Every single time I see him step on the field, he got better. Okay? Now, remember something. He missed 4 ball games this year. But down the tail end, in 12 ball games, he had 3.5 sacks, had 8 TFLs. And he basically played as many reps as what Jalen Phillips did. How many games did Jalen Phillips play for the Eagles? What did he play? 8 or 9? This guy had 3.5 sacks with them in 12 ball games. His TFLs, I think they were second on the team. They were. And every single time I watched him play, he was a force in there. A better player than Jordan Davis. And more versatile. Well, Davis is a no, Sil. Okay, fair enough. But I can play him in there too, and they do. They play him inside, the 3 technique. They played him at a 2 technique. I saw him in a 5, and I saw him in a wide 7 and a wide 9. That's why Vic loved that guy. You could move him up and down the line of scrimmage without making substitutional, situational personnel changes. You can leave him on the field. That was the secret sauce to that 24 defense. Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, those dudes didn't have to come off the field. They can go to 5s and 7s and 9s and come down into a 3 technique if they had to. Those guys were so versatile. They were tremendous. Versatility is the best policy that you can have for a defensive player in today's NFL. If you're limited to playing nose in a 2 technique or a 0 technique, and you help me against the run. By the way, the Eagles were what against the run this year? What, 15th, 16th? All right. I don't really think it was Jordan that played bad this year. I think it's the other guy that played not up to his ability. I think those 2 guys, if I were to grade those 2 guys as a tandem, they had spot games where they were great. The rest of the games, I thought they were up and down. Some games were bad, like the Chicago game. Some games were great. Most games were common. Sills, the 3 wide receivers could be available for us. Kansas City, Conception. Another Smitty. Boston played no one. And Bell beat Miami with 156 yards. Milton Williams is the most impactful player on the Patriots and how he chose to pay Cam instead of Milton. Well, you guys told me, you can't pay everybody. Yeah, but don't you pay somebody? And somebody's? I thought Howie makes all this shit work. Makes all this money work. Okay? Dude, New England got better because of Milton Williams. He's one of the players. They got better. By the way, that kid Gonzalez they drafted, fucking grand slam. Grand slam. So why has New England had the continued success that they had? It seems that they're in the bowl every other year. Why? Ownership, empowering. Bob Kraft does this. You're my coach. Go fucking coach. What do you want? I want Milton Williams. I want to draft Gonzalez. I'm going to take a chance on that nightmare, Stephon Diggs. Drake May, I need a coach to coach him, and I need Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels, OC. Hey, just guess what? Another quarterback in another Super Bowl with McDaniels as his play caller. I don't know. It's probably luck. Right? This is the 11th Super Bowl for Bob Kraft since he bought the team. That's not coincidence, is it? You talk of Howie and his different regimes. This guy's had 3 different regimes. Like I said, Parcells and Bledsoe, Belichick and Brady, and now Vrabel and May. These are completely different franchises now. They got different general managers now. Dude, Scott Pioli was the first GM in the building. Then Nick Caserio. Now they got Elliott Wolf. I've been having conversations all weekend with Alonzo Highsmith, who's second in charge of personnel in New England. If you don't think A.J. Brown's not a top priority for them this offseason, you're out of your minds. You put A.J. Brown in that offense next year, Patriots are going to go back to being a dynasty. You think there's any coincidence to good ownership? By the way, I'm telling you, I think the Eagles have great ownership. Great ownership. But here's the difference. Kraft goes like this to his head coach. What do you need, Mike? Just like he did with Belichick. Do you know what Laurie does with his coach? We're telling you what you need. That's why these OCs, what's this guy's name? What's the guy's name that turned the gig down from Chicago? What's the guy's name? Oh, here it is. The Clan Doyle. Who the fuck is that? The Clan Doyle. Charlie Weiss Jr. Yeah, I'm going back to Baton Rouge with Lane. All right. The Clan Doyle. I don't even know if that's how you say his name. I have no idea. All right. Don't forget, we will have Gary Cobb in at 4:30 with us from Fox 29. Tomorrow, Howard Eskin will join us. And we are also working on Brian Westbrook this week. He promised that he tried to come on this week with us. So we are working on that. Without further ado, the man who, I don't know how much snow he was shoveling this weekend here, but I'll tell you, I think the ratings for the NFC and AFC championship games are going to be through the roof. Without further ado, my friend Big Z, Xander Krause, joins us right now. And what a weekend, man. Appreciate you, brother.
What's up, Sills? How you doing, brother?
14 names, brother.
Is that what we're up to?
Yeah, you're up
14
to 14
names is what we're up to?
Yeah. What do you make of it? What's going on here? How many days is it now? 14 days, 14 names. There you go.
14 days, 14 names. Yeah, I mean, it's not that enticing of a job, clearly, or else people would have been jumping on. I do think after those first couple names go, like nobody's jumping to hire. By the way, Declan. You can't say Declan?
Oh, it's Declan? Sorry, I don't really have my decoder assistant nobody coaches.
It's a common name, Declan. You're calling him Declan.
Common name is Declan?
Declan, or whatever the hell you're calling him.
Oh, Declan.
Declan Doyle. Come on.
Declan, I called him. I called him Declan.
Yeah, you've been calling him that for an hour. I'm listening to him. I'm like, what is he saying over there? Yeah, I mean, he withdrew his name. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah, I saw Charlie Weiss Jr. Charlie Weiss Jr. bailed too.
He withdrew his name too. I mean, you got guy. I said to John this morning, and both him and Jeff Kerr acting like I'm crazy. Why would Declan Doyle want to coach under Nick Sirianni as opposed to coaching under Ben Johnson if he wants an offensive future in the league? I mean, I don't know. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So it doesn't surprise me he's not coming. We'll see, though, man. I think it's looking like a Cuter Hurts campaign.
Oh my God! I mean,
all right.
Do you agree? Do you agree when you do this? If you're the guy coming in, your question would be this: okay, what's up with Lane? Oh, well, we don't know yet. We're waiting to hear from him. He's taking time. Okay, fair enough. What are you doing with AJ? We're working on that as an organization. We'll let you know. What about Goddard? Well, we're kind of probably going to move off of Goddard. We asked him to take a haircut of $5 million this last offseason here. Everyone got a raise but him. Oh, and by the way, if you want the job, remember something. You don't have control of your own run game. That belongs to Jeff Stoutland. He has control of the run game. Okay. And Hurts doesn't run a pro-style offense. So do you want the job? Well, what am I doing? Am I running your offense, Nick?
It's true. Man, it's true. It's not on the surface. It's really not all that attractive of a job. But I do wonder. What I wonder about the search is less about. It's not even about anymore who it's going to be, because it is. At this point, what is it going to be? I don't know. You tell me. Your guess is as good as mine. That goes for everybody listening. And then if Nick and Jalen return, how different is the offense going to be in the first place? But my question at this point in the search is, what is the organization, the puppet string masters of the organization, the people who make the decisions, what do they think of it? Is this something they expected? Are they surprised to see top tier candidates not really want to give? Mike McDaniel doesn't even want to fly to Philly. He flies to Cleveland. He flies to everywhere else.
Buffalo.
Brian Daboll wants to coach in Tennessee before Philly. I wonder what Jeffrey Lurie thinking of that? Is he just think it's part of the search? I'd love to hear, which we never will, but that's where I think of. That's what I think of. What are they thinking? What's Howie thinking? What's Nick thinking?
Do you believe that they've put too many restrictions on the job for it to be enticing? Like, dude, working in a winning organization, everybody wants to work. Everybody wants to play in a winning organization, Xander. Do you think that the parameters of the job is what is making it more not attractive? It's not Philly not being attractive. Yeah, it's not the players on the team being not attractive. Maybe depending on how you look at Hurts. But, I mean, you're 50-18 last 2 years. I mean, how is that not attractive? It's got to be something internal.
No, but you always – and you do such a good job at shedding a light on this as much as people push back on you all the time. But, football is a team game that is consumed and driven by fans. Fans care about the 50-18. Fans care about what the team as a whole puts out together. The team is comprised of individuals that are in a cutthroat business, individuals that have families, that have lives, that have kids, that have everything. So to sit here and say the Eagles are 50-18, why doesn't anybody want to coach here? Doesn't really address the root of the issue, right? The employee doesn't care that much about the success of the organization. While they do want to be successful, their coaches, like you always said, dude, AJ cares about his yards.
Yeah.
So does every receiver in the league.
And so does every OC.
Dude, the coaches care about their setup.
That's
they don't
correct.
give a rap. Now, there's two people who I think are exempt from this. Owners are exempt because the winning goes to them. Quarterbacks are exempt because if you win as a quarterback, you get a large portion of the credit. And head coaches are exempt because the only metric that matters as a head coach is your win-loss record. But everybody else, coordinators, position coaches, wide receivers, running backs, they all are more impacted about their individual performance than the team performance. Now, I'm not here to say that the winning doesn't matter. I just think it doesn't surprise me that offensive coordinators don't care about our success. They're going to look there and say, is that job going to put me in a position to work in the NFL for the next 20 years? Or is it going to give me a fast track to be out of the league like you see some other guys who have a very short stint in coaching? I mean, coaching is not – you're not guaranteed to coach for a long time, man. There's coaches who rise up the rafters, and they're gone from the league in years and never come back. I mean, Joe Judge was the coach of the New York Football Giants a couple years ago.
Yep.
He's, a position coach at where is he? In Miami, Indiana? Yeah. One of those teams. I forget even which one. I'm just saying, Adam Gase, another example. There's a lot of guys who come and go. So it doesn't surprise me. It's an interesting setup with the offense. It's kind of something me and you have been talking about for years, when it comes to what the offense looks like, why it looks a certain way, why it's not productive, why they rank at the bottom of the league in the most important metrics, all these different things. But I am wondering, when is it coming? It's been 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Are we going to get to 3 weeks?
Do you think it's a shit show now?
No, I don't think so, because you got past those first couple names. I mean, there's still a lot of teams that need an OC, I think, right? How many teams need an OC?
There's still job openings. Yeah, there's still job openings.
Still a bunch, right? Yeah, so we're not alone here. But, we are operating with kind of the low – look at the teams who need an OC. They're not really the teams you want to keep company.
Are you shocked, though, that it's taken this long? By the way, we'll read your supers at the end of the segment here. Hit the like button, too. Are you shocked did you think this thing would have been resolved quicker?
I thought there was a chance that the hire would have came in the first week. I mean, you see how coaches, because the NFL cycle, it switches so quick to the next year, where you got to get ready for everything that's coming for the new season. So I thought it would take a little quicker than this, but I mean, here we are 2 weeks later. I mean, they're still bringing guys in for interviews. They got Gerard Johnson coming in. By the way, get a load of this. This is the funny. I heard that this morning. You know who that is, right? He's Gerard the quarterback coach for guess who?
The Dolphins?
For C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud has regressed at levels we haven't seen in a long time.
He must have worked with Bobby Slowick. That's why.
And the Eagles are bringing him in. I'm like, dude, that would be the one quarterback I wouldn't want to talk to the coach.
Man, you think Nick's a problem?
He's definitely a problem with it. But I also this is the problem with Nick, which I know a lot of people get mad at me for because
I don't think Jalen's the problem. I think Jalen's the optical problem that people would like to land on.
Well, dude, Jalen's still a part of it.
This is more about Nick.
Dude, Jalen's still a part of it. Like, there's a disconnect where most quarterbacks grow up in a dual threat. Most coaches grow up trying to coach a personnel offense.
That's correct.
So that's still a part of it. But I'm not as tough on Nick as most. But I will say this. Is it Nick or is it the environment that he's been put in where he has to tread water in his environment, and that's not the same environment as, what another head coach has to live with or has to deal with or has to prepare for? So I don't know. Is it Nick or is it the environment that they created for Nick where he's not allowed to make decisions? He's not allowed. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's where I think it gets gray because it's like, who's my boss? Who, you know what I mean? Like, who am I trying to satisfy basically?
Okay. I got a question for you.
All right.
Can you get to a Super Bowl with a mediocre quarterback?
Absolutely. Sam Darnold. I mean, I don't think Sam's mediocre, but he's right above it.
I mean, he's 2-1 in the playoffs now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of changed some narratives, and if he crosses the tape and wins one, isn't this more of an indictment on what we say about Josh Allen and other quarterbacks and having talent around him? Dude, that JSN is a fucking beast. JSN in Seattle is insane a wideout, dude. That defense is good. There's no coincidence, Xander, when you have good players performing well around you and you have great coaching. Look at Sam Darnold. This guy was fired 4 different times. How do you explain that? He's won 31 games in 2 years.
I mean, it's not to say that he's a better quarterback than some other guys, but, it's become very evident to anybody who's watching football. I don't know if it's the era we're in. I think it was Jason Cole on your show who brought up that there was a period of time, was it the late 90s or the early 90s or one of the time periods he brought up where it wasn't a quarterback dominated era and other quarterbacks that weren't elite but were good, led teams to Super Bowls. I wonder if we're either in
Brad Johnson time.
I wonder if we're in that period right now, or we're in a period where the quarterback isn't as important as it once was. But I think what's become very evident is having a great team is more important than having a great quarterback. So I look at some of the teams around the league right now, like the Buffalo Bills, who have a great quarterback. They fired the coach when maybe they really should have fired the GM.
Yeah, completely.
And you see in an era like where more of these owners are attaching to their GMs.
Yep.
Maybe they're doing it wrong. Now, if you have a GM like Howie, it makes a lot of sense.
Correct.
Because if they fire Nick, dude, they better not fire Howie. But think about how unprecedented that'd be. That'd be Howie Roseman's 4th coach as a GM.
And I think he'd win again.
Me too. The team, having a great team is far more important than having a great quarterback. But that doesn't change that the quarterback is the great equalizer.
The reason that the Eagles got better over the last 7 years is one factor. You know what it is? How he got better at evaluating talent. He was already a savant at the contracts, giving the money up front. Everyone loved the way he constructed those deals, salary cap. What made him better was after the Rager deal, he became a better general manager and talent evaluator. That's what made him separated from the other guys. I mean, one guy, usually general managers, Xander, in today's NFL, you're either a great personnel guy or you're a great cap guy. Well, he's morphed into being both.
Yeah. And I think Shooter's right on the money here. Because I do think the team is more important because you see great quarterbacks not win it. But I think Shooter's on the money here with sustainability. I mean, if you want to give yourself a 10-year window, where you're like we always talk about this, the ebbs and flows, the inevitable ebbs and flows of a roster. You can be Howie Roseman and build great rosters year in and year out. Your offensive line is going to fluctuate. Injuries are going to happen. Your running game is going to fluctuate. Your receiver talent is going to fluctuate. Players are going to go up and down. That's part of life in the NFL. It's why it's so hard to build a great team. The one great equalizer for all those fluctuations is a great quarterback. That's the big advantage. But on the flip side of Shooter and Sills, if you don't have the great team, then it's not gonna.
It's irrelevant.
It's not gonna matter that much.
Do you agree with me that Jalen Hurts' window of being a guy who's going to continue to progress and be a better player, it's coming to an end? I'm not saying it's going to end in 26. I'm not even really saying it's going to end in 27. But this thing was never meant to last 10 years, dude.
Agreed.
It just wasn't. Do you agree with that?
100%. I think people have moved. It's funny. I think people have moved the goalpost on this. Because I remember in 22 where one of the prominent conversations, especially after Jalen Hurts was given his contract that summer, remember, he was second in the MVP voting. He delivered an unbelievable Super Bowl performance, which even the biggest Jalen detractors, I think, would have to admit was a phenomenal.
Played better in that game than the last Super Bowl.
I agree. I mean, that was one of the best games I've ever seen him play. When he signed the contract that summer, I remember one of the talking points being, all right, does he change his style? And one of the most common, talking points, at that time on the radio and in sports talk was, no, get the most out of the player while you have him, and maximize his skill set. Don't worry about the window, just win right now. And I agreed at the time. Okay, you don't want to make him something he's not. You want to use all his skill set, but we also have to know, okay, it's not going to last as long. Now, here we are 4 years later, or 3 years, 3 full seasons later, 4 calendar years later, and Hurts is going into his 7th season in the pros. His running numbers have come down more and more each year.
Yep.
The style of play has taken a toll on the offense, the running game, the offensive lineman, the center, the guard, the tackles, everybody. And perhaps there are signs that are staring Eagles fans in the face, whether they want to admit them or not, that we're more toward the end of this era of style of football than the beginning.
Which has been a massive success.
100%. That's not to say it hasn't. But maybe we are closer to the end than we think. And now, again, it feels quick. As much as I knew it wouldn't be that long, it's happened a little quicker than I thought.
You are going into your 7th year here now. I mean, we are like 7 years in.
7 years of Hurts. I mean, 1 year in start, so he's going into his 6th year.
Yeah.
Of starting.
Yeah.
He's got 5 years of starting under his belt.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be 8 good years of starting.
Okay. All right. I think it's in between 7 and 8. I think it's somewhere in there.
I don't know.
Then
I mean, dude,
Hurts
depending on what we see next year, I mean.
Yeah. Could be even.
We
it could
can't
be
afford
further.
to have a bad offense again, man. We can't.
No.
I know everybody loves to say during the year, and I get it. Like,
No, that defense will deteriorate.
don't worry about the stats. Don't worry about passing numbers. Don't worry about – and I understand, all right? I understand winning is more important, but we can't win like that anymore without – you're going to have to move the ball. You're going to have to throw the ball. You're going to have to open things up for your running game. You're going to have to spread the defense out a little bit more. You're going to have to. Now, whether they do or not, I have my thoughts, but we'll see, man. We'll see. I do think you bring up a good point, though, about the window. It's built in. These are shorter windows. Look at Lamar. Does anybody think Lamar Jackson?
I think that's shortening. I think that's shortening now.
I think same thing. I think that window's half as open as it once was. I mean, he doesn't look at the same
I thought that was a 10-year thing. I'm not thinking that anymore.
That's why I'm high on the Patriots. Everybody's mad at Drake May for fumbling. I get it. You don't want to fumble.
That was one of my bold predictions that team would be a fucking huge playoff team this year.
I'll take fumbles, Sills, because I can learn from that. When you have an innate ability to climb the pocket and deliver the football, you're going to progress nicely in the National Football League. It's a stone cold fact. Look at the guys who played this weekend. Sam Darnold. Oh, What was that guy's only trait coming out of college that people liked? Guy can throw the ball.
He could fling it.
And now
And
he's
he
better
turned
at
the
reading
ball over at
So-
SC.
Look at Stafford, 38 years old.
Yep.
Is Lamar Jackson going to be dominating the league at 38? Is
No way.
Jalen Hurts going to be dominating the league
No
at
way.
38?
No way. No way.
How about this? Is Josh Allen going to be dominating the league at
No.
38?
No. No way.
So that's the elite trait. That's the elite trait. Still remains today.
You know, I'm going to ask you this, and I'm not going to ask you about signing everybody. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to ask you a bold question here. Who would be more important to you as a defensive line coach, Jordan Davis or Milton Williams?
That's a good question. You know, Milton he's such a good player, an all-around player, that it's hard to not say Milton at this point. I think when you look at the Eagles roster, it does change. I know, but it does change the question when you look at the Eagles roster. Like if you had all variables the same, I'm taking Milton Williams. I just am. He's a better player in the modern game. He can rush the passer, stops the run, does everything. Great. Good leader, good captain, good guy. Jordan is too. But you look at the Eagles roster when you have an Ajomo, you have a Carter, you have the coach that they have in Vic Fangio, who is most focused on the internal there and the interior, of that D-line. I think with the Eagles roster as it's built right now, Jordan Davis. But if you want to make everything equal, I'll take Milton Williams.
Milton's a better player, right?
Yeah, I think Milton's a better player. I think Milton's incredible. In fact, Milton Williams is one of the reasons that I'm not quite ready to pick the Seahawks in the Super Bowl yet. I know everybody's high on the Seahawks because they look really good, but let's see what that Patriots
underrated defense, that Patriots defense.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing in Santa Clara here, guys. We're not playing in Denver with a snowstorm coming. All right, we're playing in Santa Clara. Let's see what that D-line does. Let's see what the Patriots defense does, to Darnold and that offensive line. So we'll see.
Let me play Monday morning quarterback with you here. If you had to do that all over again, would you have tried to somehow retain Milton? Or you just let him walk out the building with no – well, you're going to get a comp pick for the guy in free agent because of free agency. So you're going to get a comp pick. I'm thinking you're going to get a third for the guy here. So, so you're getting something in return here for him. But if you were going to do that all over again and you had one thing that Howie did in the offseason, would that be something that you would have tried to retain? And I know it's after the fact.
Yeah,
you see the player went up there. It's kind of hard because you agree he's gotten better, right? He's gotten better.
The tough part of this question is this: one of the reasons that Milton was let go, or they let him walk, was because there was an assumption, maybe a false assumption, that Jalen Carter would be a player that was one of the best defensive tackles in football. Now, I still have belief Jalen Carter can be that.
Yeah.
He hasn't, though, and he had a down year. That's a reality. He had a worse year than Jordan Davis.
Milton Williams was better this year than him.
Milton Williams was a much better player than him this year. And Milton missed time. Milton was on IR for a little bit.
By the way, no shade on Jordan. I thought Jordan really upped his game. I actually like what the player did this year.
Yeah, I would have paid Milton, but it's hard. We're in hindsight 2020. I understand why they let him go, but yeah, that's a guy I want on my football team. That's a fucking guy you want on your squad. There's no doubt.
Are you concerned about the Eagles losing defensive coaches this hiring cycle because there's a chance that Clint Hurtt's going to become the defensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins? You already lost Christian Parker. They're talking about, some of the people that Christian knows to bring over to the Dallas Cowboys. Is that a concern this hiring cycle?
Well, I think it's part. I mean, you look around the league right now. You have Christian Parker just got hired, as you mentioned, to the Cowboys. Jonathan Gannon just got hired in Green Bay. Denard Wilson, who was here with the Gannon era, just got hired by the New York Football Giants. So you have two coordinators in the NFC East that are former Eagle defensive coaches. And you have another former Eagle defensive coach that's with Green Bay, one of the other great defenses in the NFC. these defensive coaches in Philly are starting to get caught on to, people are starting to catch on. And then that's exacerbated when you have a coach as good as Vic Fangio. So I think it's a factor, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll, I could see Clint Hurt going. I thought Christian Parker was worthy and he got the job. By everything I've ever heard about Christian Parker, and it's impossible to know how good of a coordinator he will be. As much as people might like him, we don't know. He's never been.
I think Clint's getting that Dolphin job.
Apparently, that dude Christian Parker though was a fucking beast.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
apparently he was a very
yeah.
impressive dude in every way, and that's evident. I mean, the Cowboys don't ever look at the Cowboys' last 5-6 coordinators.
All former head coaches.
Exactly right. I mean, they're going out on a limb here with Christian Parker, so he's obviously an impressive dude. Clint Hurt, I think is the next one that makes a lot of sense. Now, is there any update on that? Miami interviewed him.
I know that they interviewed Jason Taylor, the University of Miami's defensive line coach, for the D-line coach with the Dolphins. That led me to believe that Clint Hurt reached out to Mario because Mario told me, and I confirmed it with him, that I thought Jason Taylor, now not for D coordinator, but for D-line coach with the Dolphins, I think that Clint wanted to have some respect for Mario and say, listen, I'd like to interview him for the D-line coaching job if I do get that job for the Miami Dolphins. I think they're in the process of Clint Hurt becoming the defensive coordinator for Jeff Hafley in Miami.
Maybe.
I think he gets that job.
Maybe. Eagles just elevated Joe Casper, his name is, the safeties coach, so he's going to replace Parker. By the way, another OC candidate that's now off the board. Not a huge candidate, but Mike Kafka.
Yeah.
He's joining the Lions and this is how it's reported, which, it's agent speak, is joining the Lions in a high-ranking offensive staff role, per sources. Kafka, 38, has been a finalist for multiple head coaching jobs in recent years. Now an opportunity to learn from one of the best with Dan Campbell in Detroit. So they they're kind of going
passing game
coordinator, right? Probably.
Yeah.
Kafka's off the board.
Okay, so let me ask you something about Doug Peterson here. Why did the Doug Peterson era end? Why did it end?
What end?
Why did the Doug Peterson era end?
Doug Peterson wanted to hire his own guys. That's why. Dude, and one of the dudes they wanted on defense is now the defensive coordinator for the number one defense in football this year, the Houston Texans, Matt Burke.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean,
that's why he wanted coaches. There was the 20. This is why. One, after the Super Bowl, 2018 and 19, they were a little bit of a mediocre team. All right, they lost to the Seahawks in the one playoff game. Remember, Carson Wentz got knocked out. Josh McCown.
Let's go 9-7 or something like that. After
9-7, I think it was. And then 2020 came, and they fell apart. They won 4 games. Everybody loves to forget the context of the 2020 season. They basically act like it was all on Doug. Go look up the injuries that happened in 2020. With
O-line, receiving core.
O-line was decimated, destroyed, no receivers. I mean, it was a travesty of a roster. They won 4 games. The owner at that point, which I don't blame him for, but you have 9-7 twice, and then you have a 4-win season. Hey, we're not trending in the right direction. And I think he really wanted some reassurances with the coaches, with the secondary, with the assistant coaches. Doug wanted his guys. He didn't feel like things fell apart. He thought they got hit with a bad injury bug, and they could have bounced back. And he wanted his guys, and Jeffrey Lurie didn't. Remember, it took him 2.5 weeks to fire Doug, I think.
Yeah, it did. Doug wanted his guys. Okay, so now that leads me to this question. What separates Bob Kraft, in your opinion, from Jeffrey Lurie?
Empowerment. Powers his coaches. Doesn't want,
You mean a guy hiring his own assistants like Doug wanted?
Yes. That doesn't mean everybody does it right.
Well, I don't know. Kraft is going
Doug brought Press Taylor to Jacksonville, and it didn't work out.
I know this.
Matt Burke would have been excellent.
But I know this. This is Kraft's 11th Super Bowl with 3 different regimes.
Woo, man. Boy, what a shoe-in Hall of Famer Bob Kraft is.
Dude, he went with Bledsoe and Parcells. Then he went with Brady and
Oh.
Belichick. Now he's going back with Vrabel and May. Explain to me what that guy does. What does he do different?
The Patriots could be back, dude.
That's frightening for the Bills.
The Patriots could be back. I mean, I like Mike Vrabel a ton, and I told you I've been high on Drake May all year. I mean, I think that kid's a fucking stud. You watch that kid play. I don't care about some of the stuff he'll clean up. I don't that to me, I almost like seeing it. That's where he's going to grow.
Rogue on the final play.
Oh, did he?
He went rogue. He called that play.
Get some more autonomy, man. Learn the line of scrimmage. Learn the game. You know, that's part of it.
Vrabel was running down the sidelines the way he was. He took that quarterback draw, and then he was supposed to hand it off. He went around the corner, got the first down. That's why Vrabel ran down the sidelines going, "You motherfucker, that's fucking great. This is why you're here. This is why we're going." But that's empowerment. That's a coach who wanted Josh McDaniels. That's a coach who wanted Stephon Diggs, whatever you think of Stephon Diggs. This is a coach that wanted certain players. Dude, I think the empowerment, when you hire – now, look, they had Jared Mayo. That was a stopgap guy in between Belichick and Vrabel. So there has been a speed bump. But Jeffrey Lurie doesn't empower people, bro. And this is what I'm talking about, costing the franchise Super Bowl appearances. Here's the difference between the Patriots and the Eagles.
Zinman, I don't think Zinman's looking for an excuse, but he's right. It is good context. I mean, Lurie's been to 3 with different coaches now.
Okay. This guy's
so
been
like
to
maybe
11.
I know. I'm just saying maybe you could make the argument that Jeffrey Lurie's right in the way he approaches, wanting change, but also that when you're looking for consistent success, you have to step back a little bit. If you find somebody that you trust, let him rock. I don't know. It's a fair comp, though. I mean, that's still pretty impressive.
It is, and it is. Because the Cowboys are not able to do that. When you make change, though, are you making change just to make change, or are you making change? Now, look, I'll give it to you. He tried it with the Chip Kelly. That was a complete off the
I told you he's got PTSD from that, man. I've been on that for a while. Jeffrey Lurie will never be the same, and which I don't think is a bad thing. They've been successful, but he'll never be what you're comparing him to because of Chip Kelly. Never. He'll never be it.
Would you
they broke him with that.
I agree. What'd you make of the AFC Championship game?
Yeah, I mean, a kind of a classic playoff battle, right? A lot of defense, a lot of dumb coaching decisions.
A lot of strategy
in the game, but good atmosphere, tough place to play, a hard-fought battle, and
take the 3.
Take the 3. You're right. So
take the 3, dude. You're on the road. You got Jarrett Stidham. Your backup quarterback hasn't thrown a pass in 3 years, and you fucking pass up 3 points. Yeah. I even tweeted it out on X. I go, this is going to come back to rock this guy. And it came back to haunt him. You lost that with coaching decision. I thought Mike Vrabel was just spectacular in his coaching decisions, man. Well, I did.
I'll tell you what. Sam Darnold was excellent in their game.
In their NFC Championship. 31-27.
I wanted Stafford to go because I'm a Stafford, and I wanted them to win for Pat.
Yep.
But 374, 3 tutties for Stafford, 346 and 3 tutties for Darnold. I mean, are you kidding me?
JSN.
Dude, Puka had more than JSN.
I know. Hey, I thought it was great to see Cooper Kupp back in the Super Bowl, too.
Yeah. Caught a touchdown pass.
Yep. Seahawks are the bet. They're 16-3, counting the playoffs. 16-3. Hey, you want to hear something about your Patriots that you said that I'm giving them a shot?
My Patriots. I don't want to call them.
Well, you said that. Don't think that thing's not going to be.
Yeah, I don't think they're cooked.
Patriots didn't lose a road game this year.
Wow.
9-0.
9-0 on the road.
They never lost a road game.
Damn.
9-0.
I'd love to see Drake May win it. I know Eagle fans are going to hate this. I'd rather watch Drake May and Mike Vrabel win it than Mike McDonald and Sam Darnold. Sorry, I just would.
If you're the Jets and the Minnesota Vikings fans, what are you thinking right now watching Sam Darnold play? You stayed with J.J. McCarthy.
That organization is fucking stupid. That organization is so stupid. I mean, you almost can't judge any quarterback that's ever played there. Throw it out. Throw it out.
Oh, my God.
You know? Throw it out.
How about the decision in Minnesota?
Oh, they're stupid too. 14 wins to irrelevance for J.J. McCarthy, who couldn't throw a football in college, and then people thought all of a sudden he was going to learn to throw a football in the pros. When that guy got drafted, me and you talked about this shit.
Who is this guy?
We watched college ball. The guy couldn't even throw. They won a national championship. He never even had to throw the fucking ball.
I was like, wasn't it in the Penn State game? They didn't throw a pass.
I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Jefferson requested trade this summer.
Dude, Minnesota could have been in the NFC title game if they had brought Darnold back. They have good personnel.
Yeah, I mean, it was a perfect fit, though, for him to go to Seattle. By the way, what a great coaching job by Mike McDonald.
Underrated.
Very underrated. Very underrated. Fundamental team. By the way, I love that Kenneth Walker dude. I know we didn't have a ton of yards yesterday, but I just love the way he plays. I love the way he plays the position, you know. So it's going to be a great Super Bowl, I think, actually.
Yeah, I do
Hawks,
too.
Patriots. Going to be a good one.
Here's another one here. So help me out on this. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they blow out Mike Tomlin, and they land on Mike McCarthy.
They want a stability guy. They don't rock the, you know.
How do you land on that?
I mean,
how do you go from that to Mike McCarthy? Why? Because he coached in Green Bay and Dallas? How did you land there? I mean, like, how do you explain that? Like, I would have given that job to Brian Flores. I would have given that job to Chris Shula. I would have given that job. I mean, look at the last two head coaches were defensive guys, Cowher and Tomlin. Chuck Noll was a defensive type guy. How'd you go here? I mean, how do you sell that to how do you sell that to your fan base? Where are you going with that?
I don't know. Are they trying?
You're hoping you bring back a 43-year-old quarterback?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it either. How old's McCarthy too?
62, I think.
No way. That old? Why'd they hire him? That's an organization that likes to have coaches for eternity.
Maybe he's younger. Maybe
he's 62. You're right.
He's 62. What do you got him for 4 years? For an organization that's only had 3 coaches since 1969?
Boy, who's the guy who came on your program 3 or 4 years ago that's no longer with the Steelers?
Kevin Colbert. He was a former general manager.
That organization has not operated the same since.
No, they have not. Kevin Colbert was the general manager for over 20-some-odd years through Cowher and him. And he didn't have a losing season as the general manager of the Steelers either, but he had won Super Bowls. And he's the guy that brought in.
Who's it now? Omar Khan, his name is?
Yeah.
62-year-old McCarthy for the Steelers is just a bad fit.
I don't get it, dude.
I get it. He's born in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. Hey,
I'm trying to raise him with anything here.
Yeah, it just doesn't make. What do you make of Mike McDaniel going to the Chargers? You know, he thought he was going to get maybe an opportunity to coach
It's a
Buffalo.
Fantastic fit.
It is.
It's a fantastic fit. In fact, look out for the Chargers.
Yep.
They're already okay. He's going to get them boys cooking on offense.
Have you changed your opinion on AJ staying with the team?
I like AJ Brown. Love to see him staying.
Have you changed it? Have you changed your opinion that you think he's staying or leaving?
I just don't think he wants to be here, and I don't blame him. He doesn't want to be here. So, there's no sense. There's no sense trying to, force it to work. It's like a bad relationship, dude. Just move on. You know what I mean? Like what are you trying to salvage here? Just move on. Move on. And I think they should just move on because I don't think AJ wants to be here. Not because the team's going to get better, but I wish he wanted to be here, but he doesn't. Can anybody blame him? I mean, they offensively, they suck. They literally suck offensively.
Do you respect Adam Kaplan, who covers
from Inside the Birds? Yeah, he does a bunch of stuff. Adam Kaplan, yeah. He's good. We should get him on here. I'm surprised
we are going to get him on.
He does a lot of Eagles stuff. Yep.
I hope to get him on Thursday. He's been on 2 weeks in a row. You know what he told me about the hiring process?
What's that?
The hiring process is that Julian, Howie, and Jeff talk first to these OCs, and then Nick, the passing coordinators, they talk separately.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you're taking the Eagles job for OC, the first people you meet with isn't the head coach. It's the owner and the GM and his son?
Yeah.
I wonder why nobody wants his job.
That's according to Adam Kaplan.
He's probably right. Adam wouldn't say that if he wasn't right.
I thought.
Trust me, Adam is not that guy. He's not going to go out and say that if he doesn't have that information.
I was like, interesting. I was like, okay.
That's brutal, dude. That's brutal. We're either gonna. I'm telling you. I said this a couple weeks ago. We are either gonna rise like a phoenix from the ashes and have an amazing year next year, or we are crumbling next year. That's how I see it. We are crumbling, or we are rising from the ashes and making another run, or another catastrophic, stressful year. I mean, I think I lost years off my life watching the Eagles this year.
Did you enjoy watching the team this year?
No, and I didn't enjoy talking about him either. I'm not going to lie. It's easy for you to talk about him because you just call how you see it, which I like. I do too. But when you're a fan of the team and then you're dealing with everybody, fucking miserable team to watch, miserable team to cover, miserable team to talk about, miserable offense.
I thought the defense was fun to talk about.
Yeah. They were good. They were so marred down by the offense, though. You know, it was like the offense was like pee breaks. Take a piss break and a shit break. Go grab a drink when the offense trots out.
Let me go back to my freaking chair. Is that right? Let me go back to my chair. Yeah, I mean, when I look at all the names, you know how many people have been texting me? You know how many people have been DMing me? You know how many people have been posting on my Twitter page? How come nobody wants this job? How come nobody wants this job? And I'm going like, what do you mean how come nobody wants this job?
Oh,
like,
man.
All you have to do is just, again, do you think this is an indictment? In your opinion, do you think this is an indictment on the organization? Do you think it's on Hurts? Do you think it's on Sirianni? Or do you think, again, it's on all of the above?
No, I think there's a potential transition period coming quicker than we thought. I think, you know, when they won the Super Bowl last year, I remember being up here, golden era, all these different things, windows open, go get it, get our dynasty, you know, keep building, sign the guys you got to sign. And the team isn't close to, you know, being a trash can organization. They're not. No, but perhaps we are more close to a reset than we thought. You know, and that's just 1 year removed from the Super Bowl. And I mean coach quarterback reset. And what that means, a reset of AJ, a reset of everything.
Okay. Who do you think will be the first to go, Nick or Hurts?
Nick. There's a chance they go together, though.
Oh, so they're tied together.
Well, Doug and Carson went together.
Yeah.
And remember that the Eagles didn't want Carson to go. They tried. Go listen to Nick's opening press conference, everybody. The highly publicized, highly criticized one. He talks about Carson Wentz. That's what he thought. He doesn't talk about Jalen Hurts.
Are you shocked how you went from the parade float to here?
No, I'm not shocked.
Within 12 months. 12 months, you're here.
It's who we are. I mean, as an organization, we've never had the ability to build out, you know, a dynasty. I mean, if I'm the Patriots right now, I'm excited to ship because they have the proven pedigree that they know what to do, to maintain success over a long period of time. The Eagles haven't had that. So is the window closed? Nah, the window's not closed.
26 will tell us. 26 will tell you. Now, remember, there was a 10-year gap between Brady and his next Super Bowl to where, get this, they didn't go to a Super Bowl for a decade in the middle in there. They didn't go. And I'm not telling you that Hurts is all of a sudden going to reinvent himself. And this guy's like, he's Patrick Mahomes.
No, I just don't know what. Like again, I'm going to keep saying it. My biggest question of the offseason isn't the OC. It's not AJ Brown. What's the quarterback situation? And I don't mean I want to get rid of the quarterback. I'm simply asking what his skill set is. Because when I used to debate you about Jalen Hurts, and they're published all over our channel, me and you debating daily here all the time. When I used to debate you, one of the premises of my point was how much Jalen brings to a game with not only his arm, but his legs and his ability to win on third down and all of these great things. Well, if that goes away, if Jalen's skill set no longer includes running the football well and effectively and consistently, well, then what is his skill set and how good is his skill set? It's not to say he's not a good player, but you are taking away, a big part of what made him a great player. So I think that's the biggest question of the offseason.
Absolutely. All right, Z, let's get to some of these super chats here. We have Gary Cobb in the green room, so let's get to some of these supers here. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button, and we'll read your supers.
Khaled says, that's flawed hiring process. Coaches know better. Yeah, if that's true. And what Kaplan said?
Yeah.
That's flawed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Here's Pump. So what exactly are the Eagles waiting for? Kafka just went to the Lions. Is it a guy on the Patriots or the Hawks? Thomas Brown, Pete's guy? I don't know who they're waiting for.
It could be. There could be a guy that there could have been a guy on the Jets.
That's a spin job, man. Hey, by the way, you can request an interview from them.
See, the Cowboys rejected a request.
Yeah. Why would they accept?
They wouldn't.
Here's Riot. That's another good point. What's up with the teams not taking the field goal? How many games are lost because these guys think they're smarter than the game? Especially in a game like that yesterday.
Take the points, dude.
Premium points at a premium? I don't understand that. Here's Marsh. From Bills to the Rams, now the Patriots. You guys are funny as hell. Love y'all, man. Jailing it out. Well, Marsh, yeah, we talk about the NFL. So those are the teams that have been relevant. And by the way, Marsh, I saw you message me last night about Stafford, that I was glazing him too much and it ended in a loss. Marsh, he was one of the last two teams remaining in the NFC.
Yeah.
He had 374 and 3 touchdowns in the football game. And ready for this? He played versus Seahawks twice late in the year. He had 8 touchdowns and over 800 passing yards and 0 interceptions. And he lost both football games. I don't think Stafford's the problem there, Marsh.
No. It's their defense.
Come on, man. Here's the straw to break the camel's back will be AJ leaving. Clint gone, Parker gone, O-line hurt, Lane retiring, head coach can't call plays, and you can't find an OC. Well, geez, Abe, when you put it like that.
We got some troubles coming up in 26.
I might as well talk to you in 2027, Abe.
Holy moly. Where are we going there with that?
Oh, man. All right, a couple more. Here's Riot. What's up, Josh? I don't know where the Eagles management get their balls. Nobody in the NFL has shown consistent success like New England and Kansas City. Robert Kraft looks at Jeffrey Lurie and says, shine my shoes.
I don't know. I think Jeffrey Lurie's done a great job, but
but to your point, it is very different styles.
It is.
It is.
He goes
like much more hands-on.
He goes like this to his coaches. Go ahead.
See, Mr. Hill says it surmises it beautifully. Mr. Hill says successful coaches don't want to be micromanaged.
No, absolutely not.
Nobody who's successful wants to be micromanaged.
Right. Go do your gig. Go do your job.
I'll ask you in your own life. Do you want to go to work and you got your manager in your ear all fucking day? No. You're like, shut up.
No.
You know?
Yeah, you don't.
Kimberly, they even were playing Milton on offense. Yeah, I saw that. They brought in Milton for a tush push, and then they didn't even have him push the quarterback. I'm like, what are you doing here?
I can't wait to ask Gary that question. I mean, what do you make of Milton Williams' play? This is his third Super Bowl in 4 years.
All right, did you get this one? I think we might have got this. Sills, why is New England continued success that they had? It seems they're in the Super Bowl every – yeah, you got that one. You got that one.
Yeah.
All right, we got them all.
Dude, I think it's pretty impressive. This is Kraft's 11th Super Bowl with 3 different teams.
There's no doubt it's impressive.
I mean, who's the better coach, you think, Mike McDaniel or Mike Vrabel?
McDonald, yeah. I like Vrabel. I mean, Vrabel's my style, but hey, can you? How many games did the Seahawks win last year with Geno Smith? 11.
Yeah. This guy's 16-3 this year. He's won 27 ball games in 2 years, counting the playoffs.
Did they win a playoff game last year or no?
I don't think they won a playoff game last year. But counting this year and last
year,
pretty
impressive, man. Pretty impressive for him. So. To push, but I'm Vrabel's more my style, but we'll see.
Both defensive coaches. Big Z will catch you in the morning on Birds 365.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
You got it, man. Thank you, Big Z. Make sure you check out Birds 365 as well. All right. So 14 dudes that the Eagles were looking for offensive coordinator. It's up to 14. And you got dudes everywhere declining take my name out of the mix for the offensive coordinator's job. Hell, I thought Gary Cobb was going to start applying for this gig. Pretty sure you'd be able to put anybody in this job here for this thing here, right? Did Laurie micromanage Andy try when he was here? I think he learned more from Andy Reid when Andy Reid was the coach here. Without further ado, let's get to all these questions here with our friend from Fox 29 in Philadelphia, JAKIB. He joins us now here, and we appreciate him doing this. Gary, 14 names. How come this job is not inviting or enticing for somebody to take this job?
Well, it's intense. We just talk about, but you had to say you play a part in this.
I did.
I'm telling you because it's hot in Philadelphia. And they have, come on, people have a reputation that look in Philadelphia, man. They will climb all over you. It's demanding. There's pressure there. Now you got a team that just won a Super Bowl. It's got all the great players now. That says something about guys turning it down now. I mean, because if you think you're great, this is where you want to be. You win a Super Bowl, where are you going to get? Head coaching job. If you want to get a head coaching job, if you want to continue to climb, you're going to take the job. But if you're not sure, if you don't want to be in the heat and you're going to be, like let's say some guys are West Coast guys. It's cooler on the West Coast. Come on, it's more chill on the West Coast. But come on, Philly, man. The people will not shut up, meaning like it's not New York. In New York, come on. If you're in New York, you got big things in New York, and you go there, you're gonna get caught up to where you're not gonna be under the intense fire because New York is the biggest city. You got all the money. The economy of the country is New York. So I think some guys are intimidated by coming here. And like I said, guys like you play a part in it. And it is a tough city when it comes to the media, the sports media. I mean, I have to say it can be tough and it's demanding. And, it's not too big where in New York, you can get lost.
Yeah.
You're not going to get hit in the heat, really, because you're in New York. But in Philadelphia, it's small enough, but big enough where it can get intense. And so I don't think everybody's ready for that. Everybody wants it. And then they hear about the way that, guys are getting chopped up. I mean, verbally. You can't hide. And it's demanding. And they just won a Super Bowl. And you're going to be expected to win another Super Bowl. That's bottom line is what they're going to expect. That's what the only thing they're going to be happy with. Anything less than that, people are not going to be happy, and they're not going to sit somewhere in a corner. Let's say in LA, right? They're going to the beach, man. They go chill out, man. I'm gonna go out in the backyard, man. Enjoy the sun, man. I'm not tripping over that.
All right,
but
tell me this.
Yeah.
Tell me this, DJAKIB. All right,
yeah.
So Bob Kraft is going to his 11th Super Bowl now since he's owned the football team. His 11th.
That's amazing.
Okay, and get this. He did it with Parcells and Bledsoe, obviously Brady and Belichick,
Yeah.
and now he's doing it with May and Vrabel. What does he do differently compared to what Laurie does here? And I've made this comment. I think the Philadelphia Eagles have left Super Bowls on the table. Isn't it more this? I think that Kraft empowers his coach. I mean, the general manager works with the head coach.
Correct.
Here, the coach works for the general manager. And you know what people will say? Nick answers to the owner. I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. I mean, I watch Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel wants something, he gets it. Mike Vrabel wants to draft somebody, he gets it. Yeah. That's not how Nick operates there.
Because Howie has more power. I would agree. Howie has more power. But you know, Howie does have a great reputation, and he's done a great job as a GM because they have had the personnel. I mean, he has gone out and he's brought in a lot of personnel where, you know, any head coach would say, man, you know, I can't say I don't have talent. So I would agree with some of that. And when I start thinking about comparing the two, man, I just think that you got to say then this whole thing with Brady. I think Brady is the one thing there that, like, come on. They didn't pick Brady in the first round. I mean, come on. They picked Brady, and Brady was, you know, the factor there that was just, you just can't explain it. It was just unusual, and it was just, they were very fortunate. I mean, come on. But Brady was did a great job with them, of course. I have to say,
but it's the owner, Gary. Gary, it's the owner empowers these coaches.
Yeah, I'll give him that. I will give him that. But
Nick doesn't have a lot of power, or do you think he does?
Oh, I think he does. I think he does empower. You know, he's obviously going out and he's got the right coaches. I mean, you know, but I think Brady and I think the situation with Brady and the head coach, you know, that those two, I think was a unique situation.
Well, now you're seeing it again here with Vrabel and May.
You can't say that yet. You can't say that.
Okay,
yet.
All right, fair enough.
Now I will give them credit that boom, they get here the first year they're in, but is this going to continue? You know, look out because, you know, Brady and they were going back year after year after year. Now we're going to see if this group can do that. I will say this, for them to just jump up immediately, they're in it. I will give them credit for that. That means you say, oh man, you could have something special here, you know. But I can't give them that just yet, to where I could put them on that par, man, because, you know, the Patriots in the run where, you know, they put together, and how many times did they go?
They went 9 times under that regime.
Okay, see, now that's just off the charts. I mean, come on, that makes everything look like it's
so yet to be determined on what these guys are going to do.
I think that's the correct verbiage right there. Okay. Yet to be determined. But right now I have to say we're watching you. I mean, for you to be there in the first year, you're already there. Okay, that makes me turn and say, you know, we could have something there again because, you know, he was part of that too. You know, so maybe he's able to kind of copy some of the things that he saw there as a player.
All right. So this one here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to play Monday morning quarterback here with you because I asked Xander Krause this question. If you had to do that Milton Williams thing all over again, boy, I'll tell you, man, Milton Williams is going to his 3rd Super Bowl in 4 years. He's a better ball player than Jordan Davis. He had a better year than Carter. I mean, if you listen, I know it's Monday morning quarterback. I know we're talking revised history a little bit here, but I was against that guy leaving in the beginning. I was against that guy because here was the statement: can't sign everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was told that Howie does. And if Howie wants somebody, he gets it. You think if they had to do that all over again? Because I'll tell you, he's a force. Played him in a 3 technique, played him in a 2, played him in a 7, played him in a wide 9, put him over the nose. They move him all up and down that line of scrimmage.
True. That's
this guy's
true.
26 years old. He's the same age as Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
And you let that guy walk out of the building for nothing?
Yeah, they did. That is something to think about. That, they did let him walk and everything, man. But, I look at, at age-wise, he's still very young. That is something to think about. I hadn't really thought through that before, to say that, you go back and think, should they have done that? Because, you got Carter, you got Davis here. Davis is giving you what you want this year. Carter, he's got to come back to that level that he's capable of playing at and everything. Yep. I can't say I can't really say that they made a mistake, because they've gotten great play in there. And they won one Super Bowl since he's left. Since that's tough. I mean, well, no, I can't say that they won. They didn't make it this year, but that's something to think about. I'd have to look at that closely, but think and the money wise, but golly,
26 million. I mean, you know what? 26 million in today's NFL.
Yeah, it is.
That's a standard number now that you're going to be playing this offseason here.
I mean, that's true.
$25 million for an exceptional defensive line. We see that
that's
number is normal.
No, you're right. You're right in that that money now, that's the kind of money you're going to have to pay. If you got a very good player, he's going to be making that kind of money, $25 million a year, that kind of, he's going to be in that kind of market. So, I can't really say that because they missed it. Well, they did have a drop off in there. There's no doubt about it. They didn't play at that same level.
Well, I thought Moro Joma was a really good player this year. I thought he did well.
Yes, he did. Yes,
I liked the way that Jordan played. I didn't like the way Carter played, but
Carter was a disappointment.
This guy was a 3rd round pick.
Yeah,
and you had him. He got better.
That's
he
right.
goes up to New England, and he's a force.
Now, he was hurt. He was hurt part of the year. Now, he was hurt part of the year.
He was.
I don't know how many games he played.
4. He missed 4.
He missed 4 games. Okay. Well, I mean, the fact that, he helps them get back to the Super Bowl, my goodness. And they got an outstanding defense. I mean, and their defense is a big part of what they did.
Yep. Underrated.
That is reason to, to go back. I mean, that's a reason I would go back and look at that and say, boy, is this something to rethink? Because when it happened, I was saying, well, they can't afford to pay him. They can't afford to pay him. They got, they got these other guys they got to pay and everything. But right now, I think it's something worth going back and looking at.
Gary, here's what you got coming up too.
Yeah,
you're going to have to make a decision on Moro Jomo soon.
You're right.
On what you're going to do there. You're just going to allow him to roll out the building too, because he got better too this past season.
Yes, he did. Now, really right now, what they've got to do is they got to start saying, now, at first, they were in a mindset, okay, we're paying the offense. We don't have to pay the defense yet. But now they're going to have to pay, so they're probably going to be people on the offensive side. Somebody's going to have to walk. You can't pay everybody. And if somebody's not living up to their to the money that they're making, then they got to walk, and they got to think about what kind of team we're going to have. I mean, when you look at this team, that's why some people talking about AJ, moving on. I can see where it's something to think about, because they're not getting everything out of him. It's not like where you got an offense that relies, meaning like it's totally reliant upon the passing game. their offense is not necessarily like that. You know, they're more reliant on the running game. So, and they're not getting everything out of him. So that's where it's going to be. They've got things to think about, because you're not going to be able to pay everybody, but they got to pay. You know, they're going to have to pay those defensive tackles. You know, it looks like it's headed that way. So that is something to think about, man. And I hadn't thought about that, about them letting him walk and then going back and thinking about it now. But I can see where he
made a giant impact on that New England Patriots defense
no doubt.
this year. Let me ask you this one here. Are you starting to get concerned about some of the players not only leaving? We'll talk about Nakobe, but now it's being reported that Clint Hurt, the defensive line coach, is interviewing for the defensive coordinating job in Miami, with Jeff Hafley, who's just been named the head coach of the Dolphins. I was told this morning by Mario Cristobal that the Dolphins have also requested that they have a conversation with Jason Taylor on coaching the D-line in Miami. That made me believe that Clint Hurt's already reached out to Jason Taylor, because Clint Hurt played his ball at the University of Miami. And so now you're talking about bringing him over. Mario said it's cool. You could see Jason Taylor coach the D-line, and you can see Clint Hurt being the defensive coordinator. Remember, he was up in Seattle as a DC for Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
Then you lose Christian Parker. Are you starting to get a little concerned about losing some of these coaches on that defensive side?
No doubt about it. Nobody. I mean, with Christian Parker leaving right away, I was not, because I know the rapport. You can see the relationship he has with those players, and the way that he had them mature in their early years, to where he's got them thinking like pros, the way to analyze, what the other team is doing, and to be able to see it. And the thing is, he's young enough to be able to have that kind of rapport with those players, to where, they're getting smarter. They don't even realize it, how they're being able to look at the game, and they're not looking at it like they're rookies. So they start off and they're maturing fast and everything. And, you got to be able to replace, you got to have some good young guys that you can replace him with, because, you better believe I know that is he was a major contributor to the reason they're winning and they're playing so well defensively, because these guys have matured and they're playing so much smarter than their years. So I definitely knew that losing him, and he's going to help Dallas. He's going to help them, because
absolutely,
he's a guy that relates to the players. You're talking about a young guy who's football smart. So that's going to be interesting. But what can you do? You can't cry about that. You got to try to replace him. Or anybody else if people looking at. And you know what? This is what goes along with success. So the Eagles know about this. So they probably have already been thinking and have lists, and I bet you Howie's like this. He's already got a list of people that, because if your guys are doing well, they're going to.
And so does Vic. I'm sure Vic has a list of names.
You better believe it. He's got a list there. And so, this is something that they knew was going to happen. It's just a matter of when it was going to happen and who was going to be doing the poaching. But, if you have success, you're going to lose people. It's as simple as that. So they'll be ready for that. They'll have to make the adjustments, and then sometimes you got to teach coaches. You got a guy like Vic. I think he'll be able to deal with it. He's the core guy, and he kind of raised Parker. He raised him. He's been with them since he was down in Miami and stuff. So he just have to raise some other guys, and I'm sure there's some young guys in there that he's working with now. So they'll be ready. They know that that's something that obviously I don't think they were shocked that happened.
Couple more here. You believe that Lane Johnson's back next year?
I think that's a big question mark on there. I mean, the fact that he was out, I think, every year, when you've been there as long as he has, every year he's sitting back, he's going to think, now, do I want to do this another year? So there's a chance he could say, this is it. I'm done. He could walk away. So I don't think there's any that they would say, oh, they're sure he's going to be back. I don't think it's. I don't know if he hasn't made it clear to them that he's coming back. There's still a chance that he might walk. So I think that they go in the draft. They got to be thinking about replacing him. Yeah, I think that's something they got to seriously consider. That in the draft they're thinking about having to replace him because he's played so long and every year now and then it's what you're dealing with injuries and things where the whole year you're just kind of that's the kind of thing that eventually I think a lot of players come on you know yourself. A lot of times the guy said, okay, you know what, my body's telling me that I need to move on, and so we'll see. I
agree. You think AJ Brown's back?
I don't think that. I'm not sure about that. I think that that's something that they're talking.
Put it at a percentage. You think it's 50-50?
I think you could say that.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know about the relationship. He's sitting down talking with Nick. What is Nick saying to Howie? What are they talking about? When they start talking about this team. I think that the money's going to come in. I don't know how the money is going to affect things. Are they going to get clobbered? And in some ways, I was thinking and hear some things to say, well, they can't let him go this year because the money is going to be, they and they don't want, and I don't think they would want where, they're going to have to start paying the guys on that defensive side of the ball. Okay.
Gary, don't you think the next coordinator could also dictate whether or not AJ's back? If they bring a run guy in and they don't bring a spread offense guy, it's same old for him. Why would he stay?
I'll tell you this though. What offensive coordinator is not going to want another weapon?
No, I agree, but I'm talking him. Him demanding a trade.
Yeah, now and that's true. But I'm sure the offensive coordinator is going to come in and he's going to promise him, hey, look, don't worry. If they get the guy they want, which is they want to be somebody that's more creative, come on. It's just, and just looking at the game yesterday, in that game, the offense in the NFC, championship game, the offenses were, come on.
I mean, they were, scheming up run.
Compared to what the Eagles did, you're going like you see, like I said, you see creative things. Yeah. And it's almost like, all the things the Rams do, like I said, I think the Eagles need to borrow some of that. So I don't know who's over there with the Rams, but they need to do some poaching right over there at the Rams.
Hey, couple last ones here for you, Gary. All right.
Yeah.
So what version of Jalen Hurts are we going to see in 2026? Now, I asked Xander this question, and I'll ask you.
Yeah.
Do you think there's still more room here with this? Or do you think, again, if the guy's not going to run, Gary, he's not going to win from the pocket if he doesn't use his legs.
I think running has to be a part of what he's going to do. I think that's got to be a part of their offense. I think that moves the offense to another level. And I don't know what was going on to where that they didn't do it in the playoffs. He did more during the regular season than in the playoffs, where in the playoff game, and how you don't get him involved. And if anything, for Kevin Patullo to get fired, that's one reason I would say, come on, how are you not getting him involved, man? You got to involve his legs. That's one of the weapons which they're not enough defensive players to really look at the Eagles' offense and say, well, we're going to take care of everything. No, we can't take care of him running like that. We can't take care of that. So I definitely think that should have been, a part of what they're doing. And I would even tell them sometimes, you know what, we're going to run a pass play and everything. Take your time and everything, but I wouldn't mind if you took off and ran some, because it just puts another problem in the defensive mind where
like
the
Drake
defensive
May
coordinator go,
yesterday.
God, doggone it! I told you to stay outside, such and such. Coach, the guy just outran me, got around the corner. What can I say? And that's what from having played, and we both know that. Look, it get to the point to where the guy looks at the coach and goes, "Look, coach, you told me that whatever, and the guy just got around the corner. He's, the word they almost feel in their eyes where they look in the coach's eye and they say, the coach is giving up. Look at his eyes.
Yeah.
And that's the way they have done. And a lot of times, Jalen running does that to a team. Now, he did it to Kansas City last year in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He cut their heart out when they're trying to come back, and Joker takes off for 25 yards and a first down. That is carving. That's cutting. Going like, look, this is your heart. You know what I mean? And Jalen has that, and it's something that, as much as they talk about him, and he's got, he has issues, as a quarterback. He's not the perfect quarterback. But when he pulls out that weapon, after all the other things, when you see the way he can throw and everything, and then he pulls out that weapon, that really hurts the defense, and that's something they can't let just sit over there and get dust. They got to utilize it.
What did you make of the AFC Championship game between the Broncos and the Patriots? I mean, Gary, here the Patriots are back, and get this: you're in a playoff game. You got a backup quarterback. Sean Payton gets down there in the first possession. He doesn't go for the 3. It comes back to cost him later in the game because the weather changed. As you know, playing in Denver.
Now how
that
could they?
Weather changed overnight. How do you not take that?
He had to have, I don't know. I mean, he had to know the weather was going to change. I mean, there's got to be somebody here saying, they expect it's going to be, there's going to be snow all over this field in the second half. I mean, somebody dropped the ball there.
The wind and the snow, then it started sleeting.
Somebody dropped
to be a premium in that game.
Come on, they dropped the ball. Somebody dropped the ball there. And, somebody dropped the ball. There's no doubt about it, because the way they played, that first half, for them not to take that field goal and they come back and you end up losing that game like that, where got in the second half, the weather was the defense.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? The weather was helping both defenses,
Yeah.
So that, I hate to see them, lose like that, but, you got to do all your homework and everything, and that clearly was a mistake.
It was a game preparation mistake.
Very costly mistake. Very costly mistake.
Cost you a conference title game.
But I have to give my USC guy Sam Darnold. Sam,
man,
boy, I tell you. But he did step.
Bro,
boy,
wait a minute, Gary. So I've been saying this: if you're the Jets, or you're the Vikings.
I know, yeah.
This guy's won 31 ball games now in 2 years.
Yeah.
He's now 60 minutes away from winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This guy was called a bum. He's 2-1 in the playoffs now. Everybody was telling me how, Hurts is elite. He's got all this.
Yeah.
Well, then if this guy wins this Super Bowl, he'll be a Super Bowl champion. He'll win 32 games in 2 years. 2 different franchises.
Yeah.
How impressed are you with Sam Darnold and what he's done with his renaissance?
Well, I don't think anybody could look at him and say, didn't see that the guy had some talent. I think a lot of it's probably in his head. How much confidence does he play with? He clearly has, the arm, the accuracy to put a ball there to get the ball to guys. And you can see that he sees the field real well. I mean, the way he was picking apart the Rams, it's a wonder they didn't score more points. But clearly, he really has, I guess it's a lot of it's just personal confidence, and that's really the thing that got him over the top. Because if he'd have made any mistakes in that game, they wouldn't be in the Super Bowl. Because
and by the way, he's making only $30 million. Now, I say that with respect.
Yeah.
That's half of Dak Prescott's salary.
Yeah, I know. But, he's going to get taken care of, the way he's, let him go ahead and win a Super Bowl because, they got a good defense and everything. They got a pretty young team. So,
Hey,
they're going to be there knocking on that door. What's that?
Who would have thought this? The best quarterback in the history of USC football might actually turn out to be Sam Darnold.
Hey, I wouldn't have thought it, but hey, whatever. He does have a lot of skills. I mean, he really the accuracy he showed and everything, but he's still got some work to do though. He's still got work to do.
They're 4.5-point favorites right now. Early look at that game 2 weeks from now. Who do you like in that ball game?
I'd have to say I like the Seahawks. I think they, I think you're looking at a good game though. Yeah. Because I think New England, create problems and the thing about who am I thinking about?
Drake May in his second year.
I mean, Drake May, doggone. I mean, you start talking about a guy that can hurt you with his legs, and a lot of times in these games, which I think I was just talking about it with talking about Jalen, is that X factor. See, doggone quarterback that can run, man. I'm telling you, that is tough because you do your work, you got everybody covered, you're getting pressure on the guy, then somebody lets him break contain, or he hits a gap in there and cuts your throat out, cut your heart out with his legs.
Gary, am I right when I say this, that Sam Darnold might be the only Southern Cal quarterback in 60 Super Bowls that's from SC? That's the only starter? I can't think of another quarterback from Southern Cal that started a Super Bowl. I think he's the only guy.
I don't think so, but I don't know. That's a good question. Well, somebody, I'll find that. I don't know. I can't say I could answer that. But
I mean, Leinert's never. Carson Palmer hasn't. Pat Hayden didn't. I mean,
that's a good point.
This might be the only guy that's ever started a Super Bowl that was a starting quarterback.
That's a good point.
In a Super Bowl. Sanchez never started a Super Bowl. He started the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Man.
You might be right. You might be right.
That's right, man. Holy cow. JAKIB, one last one here. How long do you think the search continues? You think they get an offensive coordinator by the end of the week?
See, I think Brian Daboll, whenever he's going to come in, they haven't talked to him yet. I think that he might be the guy that could come in and sell them, because he's got experience. He's already worked with Jalen, and I could see him being a guy that might be able to satisfy them on that, because they want somebody that's going to do some different things with that offense, that's going to do some different things with Jalen, that's going to help him grow, that's going to help this offense grow and everything. So I could see where Daboll would be a guy. Now, some of these other guys that I look down here and see, I mean,
come on, man.
The thing. Hey, I don't know what these guys can do. I don't know if they're bringing enough to the table. But Daboll has, I could see where they might give him the job. But we'll see.
We'll see, man. I can't wait to see how this thing plays out. JAKIB,
but see, whoever comes in, boy, it's hot. It gets hot in Philadelphia, man.
I hear you, man.
and not everybody loves that. A lot of people don't like that heat. Some people, they like that heat in Miami, see. They don't like that heat in Philadelphia because it's a different kind of heat.
I hear you, man. JAKIB, I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you so much, man.
All right, hey, have a good one.
You got it. All right. You got yes. JAKIB blaming me for the pressure. Come on now. By the way, I asked the chat. They said Carson Palmer, the only quarterback from USC to start a Super Bowl. Like, what game was that? That Carson Palmer started a Super Bowl. You'll have to help me out on that one. I don't remember. The Raiders? That was Rich Gannon, and he surely didn't start one in Cincinnati. I don't remember. As a matter of fact, Pat Hayden, no, he didn't start a Super Bowl. Pat was in an NFC Championship game. Vince Ferragamo was the starting quarterback when they played the Steelers. Okay? Yeah, Carson Palmer never started a Super Bowl. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate that. Yeah. Sam Darnold is the only one to ever, right? Bengals didn't. Cardinals didn't. Yeah. Yeah. USC posted that Darnold's the first. Thank you, Tommy. Seals, if Vrabel wins in 2 weeks, he'll be the first former player turned head coach to win a Super Bowl at a place where he won a Super Bowl as a player and then became the coach. There's been former coaches that have won Super Bowls. I'm trying to think. A former player that's been a head coach that won a Super Bowl. I can't remember. Tomlin? Wait, Tony Dungy won a Super Bowl with the Steelers, and Tony Dungy won with the Colts. So Dungy's got a Super Bowl as a player and a Super Bowl as a coach. He did it with the Colts, and he did it as a player with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, Tony Dungy. But Vrabel will be the first player on one team to go back and coach that team and become a Super Bowl champion. So, yeah, that's what he's going for. Darnold was phenomenal last night. I expect him to play even better in the Super Bowl. He has things to prove. Boy, I mean, Sam Darnold is erasing all of the narratives of being a bust. He's erasing all the narratives. And he's more so aiming it at Minnesota and the Jets and really Carolina. Carolina had him too. Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher was on the Steelers as a player, won a Super Bowl. That could be. I know he was a player with the Browns. I don't know he won a Super Bowl as a player, though. Ditka won with the Cowboys as a player, and Ditka won as a head coach with the Bears. That's correct. Yeah, Ditka did it with Landry called him out of retirement, and Ditka won a Super Bowl as a player with the Dallas Cowboys. I think that was the first Super Bowl they won when they beat the Dolphins. And then Ditka would go and coach that 85 Bears team. Big Sills, the face of Philly media. We need your help. We need you to lead. I'm not firing Sirianni, man. It's not happening. Fire Sirianni? For what? Not getting to the Super. Win the Super Bowl every year. Philadelphia fans are psycho. If you think you were going to win back-to-back. There's been 9 teams in NFL history, and this team wasn't special. We pointed that out to you. My boy Randy White. Randy White was never a head coach. Darnold is better than Hurts. No, Darnold has more skill than Hurts. That don't make you a better player. Okay? I mean, I've said this before to you. Aaron Rodgers has more skill than Tom Brady. He's not a better player. They could have if they were better coached. Okay, well, dude, he's 50-18. I'm sorry, that does matter. At the end of the day, guys, that matters. 50-18? 25 team, never put it together because they were never a great team. They were a good team. You were a tick better than the 49ers, I think. You were better than Carolina. And then 49er fans will turn around and go, yeah, well, we beat you in the playoffs. I got it. Let's see here. Coaching is not the Eagles' problem. The players have failed this year. So you thought that 4th and 11 play at the end of the ball game with your season on the line was a great play? And you thought the offensive coaching wasn't a problem this year? Okay. Well, then why'd you fire your OC? Is Seattle a great team? Seattle's the best team in the league right now. We said that on Friday. Actually, we've been saying that for the last couple of weeks. We thought Seattle was the best team in the league. How did it get to 4th and 11? Got to 4th and 11 with bad coaching and bad play on offense. Players not executing. Coaches not putting players in good positions. So let me tell you what Mike Vrabel did with bad weather and a quarterback who was struggling in that bad weather. They ran the ball. They played tight defense. You think Mike Vrabel was using analytics in that game? I see Sean Payton was. Not taking the 3. The key in that AFC title game, get the points early and then battle the rest of the season or rest of the game. Because as the weather got worse, you saw the punting in that game. Oh, I heard something too, what folks were saying about domes and playing inside. Who in their right mind wants to see football played inside in a formaldehyde jar? Pro football is to be played outside. Football in general is to be played outside. The elements matter. Wind, rain. It's an outdoor sport. It was built for this and for the environment. It's why you have home field advantage. I bring this up all the time. The Minnesota Vikings, they played outside in Minneapolis for a long period of time at the Metropolitan Stadium. It's where the old Twins played. Lyman Bostock, what's his name? Rod Carew. All those guys played there, and it was a multi-purpose stadium in Minneapolis. They used to play in minus 34-degree weather. How many Super Bowls do you think the Minnesota Vikings went when they went and played outside? They went to 4. They went to 4 Super Bowls. Do you know how many Super Bowls the Minnesota Vikings have been to since they put a lid on the roof? None. So you want to take your home field advantage away by playing inside? Okay. Why would you do that? It's one of the best home field advantages Minnesota ever had. Like when you go to Green Bay and you go to Lambeau, that's one of the best home field advantages. You got to play in that freezing-ass weather. When you go to Buffalo and you got to play in snowdrifts, or you go to Denver, you got to play in that altitude and you got to play in that snow like you did yesterday. That's fucking home field advantage. When you get to a point, the NFL, some people were saying, you see, the NFL maybe wants to get to neutral sites in championship games. I don't want to see that. There was a time. Hey, Yale, what was the time? It was from 1920 all the way until 1968. The team with the best record in the NFL held the championship game at their place. Yankee Stadium, in Baltimore, in Chicago at Soldier Field, or at Wrigley. At the LA Coliseum, if you had the best record in football, the championship game was held at your place. They didn't have it at neutral sites. I love that. Play in the weather. Doesn't that make the games more valuable than playing in Tampa, playing in New Orleans, playing in Phoenix? Okay, so if you win home field and you win 14 games, Seattle hosts the Super Bowl. That's how you get a stadium. That's how you get a stadium built, and that's also how you get Super Bowls in your respected barn like Kansas City, Philadelphia, Buffalo. Hey, bring your asses up there. The game is more for TV anyway than for the Super Bowl experience. Most people can't afford going to those games and those ticket prices. I would never have a problem with doing this. If you had 14 wins and you were the best team in football and you had the most wins, you should get to host the Super Bowl. That's because them Reyes is soft. A Philly dome. How un-Philadelphian can you get by having a dome in Philly? Holy shit. If the Philadelphia Eagles ever had a dome, it would take the character out of that team so much. A dome in Philly for football? Here, look at this. Fuck that. We deserve nice things. No, you deserve championships. Deserve sitting in. Let's get a dome. We want to play outside in Philly. Fuck that. Bring them Dolphins up to Philadelphia. That frees their baguettes off. They used to rotate all the playoff games. 72 Dolphins had to play in Pittsburgh. The Eagles are not a dome team, nor is the Chicago Bears. Not fair for players having to play on MetLife turf. How about this? So I heard somebody make this comment, and it was a sports writer, and he said that the game wasn't really played to where the best team won that AFC title game. I'm sorry, this is not a 7-game series. Best team did win that game. The Patriots won that game. What about the injury, Sills? Part of football. What about the weather? Part of football. By the way, I did love this. I love that CBS highlighted like the 30-yard line, 40-yard line, and the downs. I love that they had the hash marks. They superimposed it like so you could see where the 30, 40, 50 was and the yardsticks were and the first down lines. You saw the field laid out. It was like highlighted. I thought that was dope. I liked that. I did. I thought that was cool. Sills, if we go, we're gonna go to be stuck with this risk-averse team, even after Nick is gone, because Jeffrey Lurie's number crunching son will be running the team after he retires. You see the point I was trying to make with Xander? What's the difference between Bob Kraft and Jeffrey Lurie? It's plain to see. It's clearly empowerment. When you hire a head coach, he don't work for the GM. Mike Vrabel doesn't work for Elliott Wolf. Elliott Wolf works with the head coach. He don't answer to that guy. He doesn't sit around and talk to him about who should play or not. Who has a conversation like that? I've never heard that until I started talking sports in Philly. That you guys have meetings on Mondays, who's going to play for the following Sunday, and how he's in the meetings, the general managers in. I've never heard a general manager in team meetings when it came to Sunday's approach on who you were going to play until I covered the Eagles. I never heard that. General managers are not in those rooms. Why would he be in the room? What impact would he have? What impact could Howie Roseman have? Or knowledge of the game could he have on approach? This is why you hire coordinators. This is why you hire head coaches. You think Mike Vrabel's got Elliott Wolf? I know he doesn't. I asked Alonzo Highsmith. That's correct. Vrabel reports directly to Kraft. As a matter of fact, he barely talks to Elliott Wolf. Doesn't talk to him. The guy's been in 11 Super Bowls. Robert Kraft's the best owner in football. It's not close. It's not close. He's the modern day Ed DeBartolo. His record speaks for itself. His success speaks for itself. By the way, I saw a guy earlier in here say that Robert Kraft cheated. Well, I guess he's cheating now too, right? How he got back? Dumbest comments you can ever hear anybody say. The Patriots cheated. Well, here they are again. Okay, here they are again. Okay? Think Kraft went for a happy ending after the game. That is something else to be debated. So I'm glad I don't have to explain all this. Times change. Why would anyone listen to a sports guy on YouTube when we have ESPN? Because everyone on ESPN is full of shit. And that's why people come here, Junior. No one's, hey, this ain't a draft. You don't have to be here. Like you're not supposed to be here if you don't want to be. Mike and Josh look happy. Bill not there holding them back. Eagles' record is the same thing. That was then, this is now. What does that mean? Eagles' record is the same thing. Your record's nowhere near what Robert Kraft's record is. That's why the GM is in the meetings. Why is the GM in the meetings? The GM's not in any of the meetings in New England. Never has been. I haven't watched ESPN either. I don't watch ESPN. I only watch ESPN. I actually watched Embiid take those threes over the weekend. And I'm like, bro, why don't you go to the hoop? I mean, seriously, shooting threes, you're 7 feet. Kind of try to act like it. That's a great call. Why not just make Stoutland the OC? If you want to run the ball anyway. Eagles' record doesn't mean shit now. Well, I wouldn't say that. That's not true. I think one of the reasons, maybe one of the things that maybe OCs don't want to take the job is because what am I going to add to 50 and 18? I happen to agree with this. ESPN is for the games only. Sad, most of their announcers are awful. They are. They're terrible. I mean, I don't watch ESPN for – here's what I watch ESPN for. College Game Day. They've destroyed inside the NBA. It's not the same. I watch PTI. I watch Game Day. I watch McAfee. And I watch all the programming. Like I'll watch hockey. Well, they don't have that, I don't think, any longer. They may. But I watch hockey and I watch college basketball. And I watch the NFL and college football, obviously. As a matter of fact, PTI is still one of the highest rated shows they have. With Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser. Patriots did not cheat. They just had the easiest path there by playing against Stroud and Stidham. That's not their fault. That's not a Patriots issue. That's an AFC issue. If Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen aren't there, that's not a Patriots issue. How's that a Patriots issue? Win your games. Win games. Well, you're diminishing what the Patriots did by the way, going 9-0 on the road this year. And you're diminishing what they did because the other teams didn't show up. That's not a Patriots issue. I mean, it's like you not showing up in the playoffs, which you didn't. So I think the failure of Chip Kelly has caused this issues with the head coach and GM. Is this an issue that caused Doug Peterson to be let go? This is one of the reasons that I had a conversation with Xander about, because I was at, why did Doug get fired? What happened at the end with Doug? Well, there was an issue with the quarterback. Doug probably wanted to coach the quarterback differently, and I'm talking Carson Wentz. The organization had different thoughts on him. They obviously had different thoughts. They had buyer's remorse. Here's my interpretation. I appreciate John McMullen, Xanders, everyone else in Philly. Here's my interpretation on what went wrong with Wentz. They had buyer's remorse. You signed the guy to a $30 million contract, right? Then the guy gets hurt in the Seattle game. And what do? You end up signing in the second round and drafting in the second round Jalen Hurts because you weren't sold on the quarterback that you just gave the richest contract to at one time or another. A contract that was one of the richest of all time. But what happened was you weren't sold that the guy was going to stay healthy and was going to continue to get better. So in the second round, with the 56th player taken, or 52, you took Hurts. Who drafts a quarterback the year after you give somebody a massive deal? Tom Brady was drafted 199th in the 6th round. No, you're missing the point. They didn't draft Hurts to be the quarterback here. They drafted Hurts to be a safety belt, emergency plan. He was never drafted to be the heir apparent. And so when Wentz started going south, and then Doug's relationship with the front office on who he wanted to hire started going soft, the front office started to believe they knew what was better. And I think there was sabotaging going on the roster. There were tomato cans at the end. There were injuries at the end. Doug wins 4 ball games. It gave him the greatest example to blow his ass out, and they did. Offseason, they had conversations. Remember what happened, too, in the offseason? We just got here. They wanted to start to move. They didn't want to fire Doug. And Doug started battling for his position coaches. And remember something, when they started to make that deal with Indianapolis, that's when in that week of the exchange with the talks with Carson Wentz going to Indianapolis for that contingent one, that's when Frank got on the horn with the owner. Frank said it here. And all of a sudden, the whole thing changed. And Nick was being pimped by Frank Wright to be the next head coach and the replacement for Doug Peterson. And if you remember right, Nick, as was told, Nick was supposed to come in and fix Wentz. Well, that thing went south. They moved him. Okay? Doug gets fired. Okay? Doug was battling for his coaches. This is my take. And that's how you got Nick and Jalen. Jalen never earned a job. Jalen was given a job. Now, in all frankness, this thing panned out. It's been a successful run. But this was never going to be a long run. We said that from day one. This was never going to be a situation where that Hurts was going to play 10, 15 years here. This was going to be 8, 9 years tops. And in that time frame, remember what I asked you? You probably don't. Some of you that have been here from day one probably remember this. I said, hey, if you get 3 Super Bowl appearances and you happen to win 2 of them and he only plays 9 years, that's a tremendous success. Shit, if he were to leave today, it would have been a tremendous success. It'd be a massive success. You know how many football teams would like to have the last 6 years, the kind of success that Hurts has had, make the playoffs every year, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and then 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl inside of 6 years, and the winning you've done? That's just massive success. Seals, have you talked to Frank since the Bird season ended? Would he still likely have a consultant role? Well, I think you got to get the OC first. I mean, I think that's the – hey, listen, I don't know this 100%, but do me a favor. Hey, Z, remember I said this. The next time you look, okay, I'm gonna give you guys a little insight here without exposing myself. Cooter. Coach. Okay. Jim Bob Cooter. Okay. So Jim Bob Cooter was in Jacksonville as the passing game coordinator in 2022. Who was there during 2022? Who was there? Who was the head coach in 2022? Does anybody remember? For the Jacksonville Jaguars? Who? Does anybody remember? Anybody? It was Doug Peterson. Okay? Remember, all of these guys are going to have connections to what? By the way, he was also in Kansas City. Got connections into what? Andy Reid. Let's take a look at another guy that's being considered for the OC job. Let's look at Greg Roman. Take a look at his resume. Greg Roman, who I like a lot. Okay. San Francisco offensive coordinator. Okay. Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. He was in Baltimore from 19 to 22 with John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh connected to Andy Reid. Right? Los Angeles Chargers, 24 and 25. Connected to Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh. If you don't see a connection from Andy Reid, Doug Peterson, or Frank Reich, that's where these guys are getting their coaching candidates from. Okay? So they're getting the tree of Nick, Frank, and Doug. Guy and another guy by the name of Mike McCoy. I'm not sure you guys know that name, but Mike McCoy. These guys all have like Reed, Doug, Frank Reich. All these guys have connections. That's where Nick and the rest of these guys are pulling their candidates from. There's some similarity. So what does that tell you? These are guys that dudes have worked with in the past or have the same coaching style and philosophy on what they want to do with working with a staff. All these guys are intertwined and interconnected. Frank Wright is connected to Nick Sirianni. Why? Nick Sirianni worked for him. And Mike McCoy. This is how you guys got Bobby King. Bobby King was where? He was with John Pagano with the Los Angeles Chargers. Back then, the San Diego Chargers. That's how Vic didn't even know who he was. Nick worked with him in San Diego. That's how Bobby King became the linebacker coach. Vic said he never knew him. Then he called John Pagano up, Chuck Pagano's brother, and said, yeah, the guy's a great player or a great coach. Nick goes, I worked with him. He was on Mike McCoy's staff, worked with Frank. All these guys are connected. Correct. It's like a bloodline. It's about style of coaching. It's not so much about style of play. It's about, well, style of play has something to do with it. Because these guys, you're going to hire people that implement your style of play. This got nothing to do with the quarterback. This has absolutely got nothing to do with the quarterback. It's got everything to do with the head coach. Well, that's here. Okay? You got to understand how people hire before you can ask, who do you want? Here, let's go to Frank Wright. I'll show you. I don't think you guys understand how head coaches and assistant coaches and all the connections here. So here, Okay, San Diego Chargers. He was the quarterback coach, Frank, in 2013. Then he became the offensive coordinator in 2014 and 2015. Go back and take a look at that coaching staff from the 2014 to 2015. Here, let me show you. Then you'll get a sense of how you're hiring. San Diego Chargers offensive coaches in 2014. Offensive coaches. Okay. Here's the coaching staff that was on that team, the coaching staff that they had. Ready? Okay. You had John Pagano, of course. Nick Sirianni was the quarterback coach. Shane Steichen was the offensive quality control coach in that 2014. Shane Steichen and Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni all worked in the offense together in San Diego in 14. There's your connection. Okay? Now take a look at the 15 staff in what they had. You'll see more names. This is how you hire. This is how you connect. Okay? Mike McCoy was the head coach. Frank was the coordinator. Nick Sirianni was the quarterback's coach. Shane Steichen was the quality control coach. And Bobby King became the assistant linebacker coach. These are all guys connected. Let's take a look one more. Okay? Take a look at the 16 staff. Okay? Go to the 16 staff now. And you'll see 2016. You'll see more names. This is how your staff was built in Philadelphia. Okay? Sirianni was the receiver coach. Shane Steichen became the quarterback coach. Ken Wisenhunt became part and offensive coordinator. They demoted Nick. Bobby King became the linebacker coach. Chris Shula became the quality control defensive coach. Look at the names. Remember, Nick was demoted from OC. Or he was demoted from quarterback down back to wide receiver coach. I don't know where, where he became like this so-called guru guy. Because Ken Wisenhunt took over for him. Here, let me give you another one here. One last one. So let's go to Frank Reich here. What year did Frank Reich become the head coach? Frank Reich, what year did he become the head coach of the Colts? And I'll show you where this all makes sense for you guys. He became the head football coach in 18. Okay, 2018 Colts coaching staff. Okay. Kevin Petullo, wide receiver coach. Nick Sirianni, offensive coordinator. Here's the 2018 when he was there. (2018) Kevin Petullo, Nick Sirianni. Jonathan Gannon was on the defensive side. Here's 19. All coaching connections. Kevin Petullo, passing game coordinator, was on that staff. Nick Sirianni was the OC. Frank, head coach. Kevin Patullo, Jonathan Gannon, all of those guys. That's how you built your football team. Nick got demoted. There you go. That bastard made the Gatorade. Well, yeah, he did because they brought Ken Whisenhunt in. I remember when Ken Whisenhunt got fired in Arizona, and after the offense kind of sputtered, the Spanoses wanted to bring in a new OC. So they demoted Nick and put Ken in the seat, and they moved Frank out and demoted him from being a quarterback coach to a receiver coach, where he worked with Keenan Allen. So all those guys, man, have worked in the past. Ken Whisenhunt's part of that whole thing too. I don't know what Ken Whisenhunt's doing. I know that he took a year off from coaching, but he's a pretty damn good coordinator too. That's how you hire guys. So when you see these 14 names, many of these names have no connections. And so I'm like, how is this connected to that? Now, Cooter working for Shane. Shane is a connection to Frank and Nick. That's why it makes sense. Style of coach. It's not about the personnel on your team. It's how they coach with those guys and how they've coached before in the past. It's not about the personnel. It's about the coach. You hire coaches in Philly for Nick, not for the players. That's the frustration that AJ has. All right, let me pay some bills here. Hey, our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. With over $20 billion sold. Okay? $20 billion recovered. Make no mistake about it. Morgan & Morgan is the number one injury law firm for a reason. It's because they win. Folks, if you're ever hurt or injured on the job, trust me when I tell you this is the easiest decision that you'll ever make in your entire life. They comb this country and they represent families like you each and every single time with their thousands of attorneys. It's the biggest injury law firm on the planet, not just here in America. Do me a favor, go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
There's a reason Detective Johnson is the gossip king.
Oh, did you hear? Jackie and Tom
are getting a divorce? Sad.
Well, I heard that Ashley
Had work done on her face? Yeah, oof.
Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Injured? With over $25 billion recovered for our clients, there's a reason to go big.
Bathroom? Okay.
Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Oh, okay.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Appreciate you guys here. So impressed with Robert Kraft and what he's done with his organization. I mean, it's second to none. It really is. It just shows you how you empower people and how the difference is between the Eagles and the Patriots, and how an organization gets back to greatness. I mean, if this doesn't, and not an indictment also on the Bills. I mean, so the Buffalo Bills have a great quarterback. Spectacular. They don't have a great football team. You mean to tell me that Seattle has what you guys have called a journeyman? You guys don't think, you said it here. How about this? You guys don't think and you guys don't believe that Sam Darnold's elite. Well, he's in a Super Bowl. You don't have to have an elite quarterback to get to a Super Bowl. Let's get back to the Andy I know. I'm not alone here. Bit this Frank tree is absolute trash. Well, that's who your head coach takes orders from. Your head coach takes orders from people who go off that tree and go off that Doug Peterson tree. They haven't deviated that far off it. Your general manager, your owner, they don't deviate far from that Andy Reid. Doug Peterson's a part of that. This is where they stay in the room. They stay with Frank, Doug, and Andy. Those three dudes, if you don't have some connection into those guys, they're not bringing those people in. Every single person that they've brought in all has connections to somebody of those three guys' names. Okay? Sills, you didn't care for Darnold either. I said this about him. No, he's a journeyman. He's been fired a couple times. 4, actually. He's not elite. He's a hell of a ball player. I don't think Jalen Hurts is elite. Sam Darnold threw for 360-something or whatever it was for 3 touchdowns last night. Turns the ball over. Been fired 4 times. Guy's not elite. There he is in a Super Bowl. And he was with shitty teams. Shitty organizations. Like I said, Buffalo's doing nobody any favors with Josh Allen, not building the team around him. That's a failure on the Bills. And Terry Pagula can tell you all he wants. Hey, listen, I know it's snowy and I know that it's bad weather in New England right now. But let me hook you up here on something. That dude should stick to energy because he don't know shit about running a football team. Okay? He don't know shit about it. Yo, Sills, you think we should draft a quarterback to compete with Hurts? No, not yet. By the way, I can't wait to see how you guys are going to restructure his contract with a no trade clause involved in it. How you're going to deal with that. And how you're going to move off that guy. He's got the leverage, my friends. You don't. Doug said it on this program. He'd be open to do that. Now, you got to remember, I think there's probably ego involved there. Is having an elite quarterback more of an issue than an asset with big price tag that comes with it, Sills? I don't need. Dude, I see a couple teams right now with not elite quarterbacks getting the Super Bowls and winning them. Jalen Hurts, Sam Darnold. Shit, you could have had Jared Stidham in the Super Bowl if they had made a couple more plays in that game. Jared Stidham, I thought he conducted himself well. They lost by 3. I mean, it wasn't like the Patriots were putting big points up. You didn't get blown out in that game. You mean to tell me that the Patriots couldn't blow out that good defensive football team, the Denver Broncos? Hey, there was a reason the number was sliding back. It opened at 7 and went down to 4. Everyone was like, whoa, why? Well, they thought that Bronco defense could carry him home. It almost did. Get this. What? He was terrible and lost by 3. What'd you expect him to do, dude? He hadn't thrown a pass in 3 years. What do you think he was going to be? Bo Nix? I thought he performed well. For having thrown a pass in 3 years? Nobody said he was going to be fucking John Elway. They lost by 3. He was a backup. He made a bad play. What did you think he was going to do? They lost by 3 points. I think it was I think it was coaching that lost that game too. Sean Payton, you had a backup quarterback who hasn't thrown a pass in 3 years. And you pass on the points at home in bad weather. I mean, I'm not sure what you think you think these backup quarterbacks are close to the starters in today's NFL? You're high. You all thought Tanner was going to be the second coming of Jesus. Don't make it sound like he wasn't in your nature to hype the bench guy. I don't know who you're talking about. I never hyped that guy as a guy to take over for Jalen Hurts. As a matter of fact, nobody on this channel ever said bench Jalen Hurts. I know that for a fact. Nobody here said ever to bench Jalen Hurts. I know we didn't, and I know Xander didn't, and I know John didn't. Sills, how well did you know? I knew John Brody a little bit. Passed away over the weekend. Truly one of the iconic players in pro football. A really great dude and a really great broadcaster too, by the way. He was a tremendous broadcaster. Hey, Sills, does the Super Bowl come down to quarterbacks or defenses this year? I think it comes down to coaching and defenses. I think it comes down. Okay? I do. Sit and played the Jalen Hurts role. Don't lose us the game. And he did with that fumble. Hey, dude, you know what I thought it was? I thought it was a scoop and score the other way initially because the thing did go backwards. And I thought it was a scoop and score. I mean, if you saw you know how great Vrabel was in this game, how great that game was coached? Once Vrabel and the Patriots started seeing that that Stidham couldn't handle pressure, they started bringing it. And they started bringing internal pressure. And they started moving Milton Williams up and down the line of scrimmage to create mismatches. And it became a problem for him. I would have moved Stidham out more in the perimeter to get him open. But as the weather got worse, I mean, if you couldn't see the field and you couldn't see the yard markers and you couldn't see the hash marks, that means you can't see 4 feet in front of you. Why are you throwing 20-yard passes down the freaking field if you're Sean Payton? That play at the end of the game that Drake May made, it's being reported that he went off script and called that himself, that quarterback keeper. He knew that if he got the first down, the game was over. That's why Mike Vrabel was running down the sidelines going, oh, my God. The kid went against the coaching. He didn't want to hand the ball off, and he didn't want Denver to get the ball back to potentially, or a punt blocked. You never know in games like that with situations and the environment being that way. I'm sorry, but I like games like that because there's strategy. One bad play can cost you the game. One poor coaching decision, whether it's 31-30 or it's 10-7. I like games with strategy in them. I like games you got to play in the environment. Hello, it's football. You play outside, my friends. Play in a dome. Good God. When we start playing all these games in a dome, then you really soften the sport up. Come on, man. Have some backbone. You imagine playing the Philadelphia Eagles in a dome in South Philly in 73-degree weather when it's 15 out. Really? Wow. I never thought a place like that would have it. But then again, you got some fans like Dom Reyes. Pretty crazy how it's 2 defensive head coaches in the Super Bowl. Yeah, it is. Remember when they were saying the last couple of years? Okay, I mean, here, this is, every time I hear, no more weather delays, no more excuses about weather. Look, hey, I bet you like shuttlecocks. You guys know what a shuttlecock is? You play badminton with it. It's like a shuttlecock. You hit them shuttlecocks and you play badminton. Then you eat some like cheese and you have some parcheesi. And you play another game that you play is parcheesi. And Dom Reyes playing. I bet you like playing with the shuttlecock, dog. You know, you hit the shuttlecock. You hit it again. You know, hit badminton. I bet you got about 7 shuttlecocks. Boom, you're hitting them there and you're playing, you know, a little bit there. No? Come on, Dom Reyes. I know you have to have one. Hey, let's play some badminton. Bang, hit that shuttlecock. Football inside. Hey, man. Football inside. All right. No more weather delays? You don't delay football games with weather. You play through it. I bet the ratings are going to be off the charts in a snow game. Run Barkley and Bigsby. How you doing? Yes, sir. Yeah. Minus the shuttle. Okay. Shout out to Big Cells, Big Xander, J-Mac. Hey, by the way, even though he likes Patullo for some reason, here's one thing I found out about Kevin Patullo. You know why Nick Sirianni and Frank Reich and all those coaches, Shane Steichen, love Kevin Patullo? They say when it comes to putting down design plays and the structure of a game plan, he knows exactly, and he's scouted the other teams and what their weaknesses are and the approach that he's great at it. The problem is the quarterback didn't take the intel that Kevin Patullo gave on the game plan for Sundays and couldn't follow it. So Kevin Patullo had to cut that down in half to where Jalen Hurts understood it with his skill set. The problem was, it was the game situation play calling. It wasn't that Kevin didn't know what play to run. He didn't know situational and certain when you're 3rd and 8, you're chasing 1st and 2nd down, and the run game couldn't save them, and they had to throw the ball. Well, once they had to throw the ball, they knew by week 9 that they had to throw the ball to win. They knew they weren't going to win much. It was the run game that clearly let down the offense because they had to rely more passing. The passing elevated more. And once the passing elevated more, you weren't able to get yourself out of trouble. It's not that Hurts is an imbecile. It's his skill set. Okay? Why he needed to be in the booth like Foles suggested. Yeah, because I think that might have helped him. I think Nick wanted I think Nick wanted him close to him so he can make conversations. I think the worst thing you can do if you're an offensive coordinator is be near Nick Sirianni. How come Vic's in the booth? You know why? Nick's not in his face. I bet you anything. I'd like to know if Vic Fangio was in the booth in Miami or he was on the field. I'd like to know that. Jalen Hurts does not have low IQ in football. Nobody would ever say that. I hope we can, dude, Becton, I mean, that's the least of your issues. Becton is the least of your problems. He was in the booth in Miami. Thank you, Mikey. Okay, so that means he prefers that. See, I think coordinators should be in the booth. Get to see the game. If you're on the sidelines, how can you see it? You can't see what they're trying to do. I think you should be. I think if you're a coordinator, you should be in the booth. At this point, we can get Foles as OC. That's why I suggested last week you might want to get Phillip Rivers. Thanks. I appreciate that, guys. Big Dom needs to step on the cord to Nick's headset and leave his foot there. Hey, Nick will tell you you're crazy. I've got a winning record. I get it, too. Hurts should be in the booth. Funny. Yeah, no, hey, I think the coordinators all should be up there. If I was the head coach, I'm the one on the sideline. I think Jimmy, if I think about it now, I think Norv and Wannstedt and Butch and Campo were all upstairs in the booth. I don't really like coordinators on the sidelines. How can you see the game? I don't think you can. I just don't. Can't run complex offense. It's not that he can't. His skill set can't. I mean, his skill set can't do that. They need to put Nick in the booth to get it. No, head coaches don't go in the booth, my friend. Slow operation, internal clock, holding the ball too long leads to unnecessary sacks and missed windows. Post-snap recognition, these are all things that he had on his pre-draft scouting report. Struggling to identify late safety rotations or zone defender and leverage. How about this? Also drops his eyes once he leaves the pocket and gets out and starts to roll. Those are all things that have not left him since he left Alabama. I mean, most of the time, those scouting reports, they stay intact. If you look at Josh Allen's, we read Josh Allen's to you. Jalen Hurts is not terrible. That's not true. And I've never said that. Okay? But if you think that you're going to, dude, you're looking at 14 names. You know why you're looking at so many names? You're looking at so many names because you're trying to find the right guy that's going to fit the coaching staff style of coaching. Mike McDaniel was never going to fit in Philly. You know why? He wasn't going to take a knee to what Nick and those guys wanted. Brian Dable, the only reason he may take a knee is because he might like Jalen Hurts. But I thought he was in the room when Jalen got benched for Tua. Okay? We need the best fit. Ridiculous. But the best fit, he's right. He's not terrible. That's not. But again, when I see how you guys hire, you don't hire for the quarterback. This new coordinator, I read some of the stuff that's on the social media page for WIP. They need to get a coordinator in here to help Hurts. That's so far down the food tree. It's ridiculous. They're not bringing a guy. They're bringing a guy in to help the offense. Remember what Michael Irvin said when he was on our program? Sills, coordinators like Nick are not looking to improve Hurts. Coordinators like Nick are looking to improve the offense as a totality. That's why when you have a guy like Phillip Rivers, he doesn't have to do anything to Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers already knows what to do. Nick didn't have to do shit to him. He knew what to do. He knew how to look and dissect defenses. When you've got, bro, you had a quarterback that learned how to set protections last year. I've never heard of the thing. I know quarterbacks in high school that set protections. I mean, when I heard that, I remember I was telling North Turner, I go, they just told the quarterback to learn how to set protections this year. He's like, what? Limited. All right. Guys, we appreciate it. Howard Eskin's going to join us tomorrow at 4:30. So we'll talk with Howard and get his thoughts. Tomorrow will be day 15 since they fired Kevin Patullo and looking for an offensive coordinator. We'll talk more about Super Bowl 60 coming up in a couple weeks in Santa Clara. We'll do that. Big Z and Joe, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.